Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to your weekly edition of the Weekly Geek. Oh no, bad microphone? Man
Sounds
says
bad.
nothing to me? It sounds bad?
Sounds bad.
Do we
you just
sound good
bad
now?
today for some reason? You
Yeah, I
sound
was
better.
recovering from being sick. Yeah, okay, I got the right mic. Now. There
I
we
should have
go.
played that, to save the awkward interruption there. But anyways,
Yes.
carry on. Sorry.
But yeah, I'm joined by this man.
Viva la revolution, Kirkland Thatcher.
My fellow Creed brother, the Creeds.
Yes.
I hate because I feel like whenever I see that, I always associate like Assassin's Creed, but only
I
like
know,
the
I
patrons
do
know
that.
it's Creed the band. We're the Creed boys, but specifically the boy. We don't have that drop, do we? We've never added the Take Me Higher one. Hey, that might have to be on there.
I feel like we've always been maybe worried about copyright stuff. Like I don't know how that can fly.
right,
if
but
we're
we've
on
never
YouTube
got
or
hit
whatnot.
by this one.
Memories bring back your...
I won't forget you, buddy.
That is a
great.
good point. So there you go.
Yep.
Maybe we should dabble into some more Creed videos.
Or we just have to find like a 460 version of that YouTube video that's recorded by someone else. Because that's not even that. The one that goes around that I have, the one on GV, the popular video, is like the one off of like F movies or something like that. It's not even the actual HD one from Venom. That like makes the joke
Like our
better.
Kurt Angle video,
The
it's
Kurt
not
Angle
big.
one scares me. It's so like I've thought about replacing it, just putting the in there, but I still love the music behind there because that song or song they got. But it's great to have there. But yeah, we're here, Weekly Geek. Obviously, earlier in the week we did a newscast which was not planned, a GV episode where we talked about the Avengers Endgame Doomsday cast reveal. We're like, oh, we'll go for about half an hour. Went for an hour and a half. So patrons, you're getting one more Mission Impossible retro this week. You're gonna get 4 a little bit later because I said we were doing 2. But the Doomsday had to take some precedence. So we've got that going on. Side quest coming up this week. That's you and Dylan Musk. So that'll be
Yep.
good. Weekly Geek next week, I think, is me and Dylan. So you're getting a double dose of myself here. And then Daredevil, as always, we'll maybe hear Kirkland's thoughts because Taylor's away
Yeah.
next week. So,
Yeah, no, I still haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so I'm excited to catch up.
I'm curious to get your take on some of the
Yeah.
stuff going on here.
I opened Discord one day and I was just on the Daredevil spoilers for some reason, and I instantly closed. So yeah, I'm sure there's some good discussion going on in there.
Were you on there today?
In the Daredevil spoiler
Yeah.
chat? No, I wasn't.
Oh, I won't say what it is because some people, of course, don't want to know what it is. But the suit that he's rocking for season 2's come out, and oh man, it's one spicy meatball. It's a suit
Ooh.
I've been wanting for a while, and
Just
we're getting
assless
it.
chaps.
100%,
Yeah.
and it's like a huge cock form right there. Like he just running through the streets hard.
It's like chainmail link to,
Yeah.
super whatever you
Literally skull fucking people. You know that movie, Scary Movie, when Ray gets the cock through the ear? That's what
Oh, yeah.
Charlie. That's what Daredevil's known to do now. It's like the D stands for something else.
Excited to catch
Dick
up
death.
now.
But yeah, check that out. We got lots on the feed. Lots come up in April. April, just tons of review where we're finishing off Daredevil. We have You. We got Last of Us. We got Andor. Sinners on tap. That maybe some other movies we're gonna talk about today. So there's just like lots of stuff. We're getting to that. We're getting to that blitz where it's coming from April to I'd say about July, because then it's like CinemaCon next week. Me and Dylan will covering. We'll have Comic-Con. Then we got that 4-week stretch of like Jurassic World, Superman, F4, and we got Thunderbolts. It's gonna be a good juicy time. So we'd appreciate just subscribe. That's a big thing, whether it's on YouTube or audio anywhere. If we're not there, let us know and I'll find a way. But all the major platforms were there. And if you really like what we do, head over to Patreon. You can get this episode and every episode we do ad free, a bunch of exclusive episodes or bread and butter where we talked about multiple Avengers stuff before. We got the Mission Impossible series retrospective. We're reviewing every one of that. And then we have the Superman one that's still going up. And then the entire Fantastic Four one is up there right now from the first unreleased movie to Fan4stick. So go check that out. Those are lots of fun. And yeah, we'd very much appreciate it because with that, Patreon, and of course, listen here, but just support in general, that makes it so we can do Weekly Geek. That's why we brought it back. When we do side quests, like you guys, all that funds and the support pays for the extra content. So, and yes, a big thank you to Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superman Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, and Charlie Randell. Like I said, you guys will and gals will be getting Mission Impossible 3 this weekend. I got to finish editing it, but that's going up there. And it's that was a fun one because we've talked about that one for a while. while, and I was excited to talk about because I feel like we had some conversations, won't spoil it, but I feel like in the Discord I've always talked about how like Mission Impossible 3 is my favorite, and I'm always met with like a really, that's surprise. So I get to like not defend it, but I get to like, okay, more than just like a couple sentences, really go, okay, this is why I love this movie. And yeah, it was it's fun looking at going back on these ones. So yeah, we got that coming up in May. Just lots of good stuff. But so we're kind of feeling some ramifications from yesterday because you get the news with in the news and stuff. So a few things that happen. You can go back. Yeah, we did an hour and a half just talking about the entire Doomsday reveal. So you got that going on. There's some scuttlebutt of some people like, so Downey posted something on Instagram about like, oh, that's it, right? And then Marvel's like, oh, there's probably more. Like, you know, they're just fucking teasing back. They're February 1sting it, you know what's going on there. But then some scoopers like, oh, we might get that 2 to 3 weeks. There's one scooper that says like, hey, I've heard next week they're doing this again. Who knows what's going to be happening? But we kind of got that. And then we got some more kind of Doomsday / Spider-Man related rumors along with some other Doomsday stuff. And it's kind of fitting because, you know, last night, I'd say the person that brought up this character the most was, you know, the Spider-Boy himself to my, I did it correctly, reverse mirror,
nice.
to my left, your right, Spider-Man. Kirkland Patz was talking about, you know, needing some Tom Holland there. And even today, from multiple scoopers, conflicting reports where we got some people saying, hey, he's definitely in it, but they haven't locked the script down or haven't locked him down, where there's some people that are B tier saying, no, he's not in it, for very much the same reason I talked about last night, where it's like he's filming Nolan, he's filming Spider-Man 4, and they've said that apparently comes from another B tier source. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But as always, we always cover these, right? And this is where there's going to be an example for me today, where this person is the same person that, you know, controversial scooper, reporting the Downey stuff, other things. But this is a time where we report on the B tier stuff and it's not always true. And a time where I'll go, you know what? I don't really believe any of this because the report was that Tom Holland's not going to be in Doomsday at all. And obviously those were the reasons. And what's going to be happening is Spider-Man 4 is going to be taking place during Doomsday. And that's going to be kind of a way to explain why he's not there. Kind of similar with Captain Marvel or Ant-Man, where, okay, you're going to see their separate adventure, what's going on, and he wouldn't be in it. I do have a villain rumor we'll talk about here in a second, but how would you feel, Kirkland, if that does pan out? Where, because we kind of thought, okay, you know, he'll be there somewhere. Let's say that was the case. Let's say he's not on Doomsday at all. Is that hype just continuing to drop for you that you're talking about last night, not seeing the list, and then you sit through Doomsday and there's nothing, or maybe the movie's so great you don't even notice, you know? That's the hope, right?
That's absolutely the hope. I feel like a news piece like this makes me, I feel like it takes away some of the guessing game that I had going on in my head of like, what the hell is going on with Spider-Man? Like, why wouldn't he be in here? Like, I get it, he has a busy schedule, but like still, like you have to have some way to incorporate this character in this type of story. And then in terms of it taking place during Doomsday, because that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be coming out like the same time or anything, right? Like that
Doomsday,
means that it could just be.
If everything stays, Doomsday is in May and Spider-Man's in July. That's the schedule right now. Obviously, delays happen all the time, but let's say if nothing changed, they're 2 months apart. Yeah.
That's tricky. just based on Tom Holland's schedule, as you've already laid out there, and
Odyssey comes out that same July.
Yeah, that's a tough task. Like I feel like it's a hard ask even just to get a small piece in Doomsday, let alone a full film. So yeah, like when I look at it all in a row like that, it kind of really drops my believability factor of that. But who knows? I think, you know, taking all of like the logistics out of it, I think that would actually be really, really sweet. Like I obviously want him to be a big part of that story, and if he isn't a part of like necessarily the collab side, but he's doing his own adventure, like taking place at the same time, and then of course going into Secret Wars or whatever comes afterwards, just like having him like team up there and just I don't know, just seeing a different view of the whole event. So whatever it might be, I think that's pretty enticing, but when I think about the believability factor, it's a little bit lower.
I don't, and that's where when we talk about, you know, that type of stuff, that's why we cover B tier stuff. I don't believe this at all. I think that there's no way, as I said before, I thought it could be a Civil War type role. I think there's no way he's not in it for like a second, even if it's a post credit. I think there's just no way you don't have him there. I saw about this Emily too, where you got to remember it's like Spider-Man wears a mask. There's lots of times where you could film some stuff and it just has to be Tom's voice, and you just need him for like a day maybe to do some stuff. So there's that. Kirkland, I was going to say, we talked about the Creed boys, but I feel like I tweeted this out before confirming with you, but I feel like we should, same way you guys, you and Taylor, change yourself to the, what is it now? The Beckinsale boys?
Yeah,
I feel like we got to be the Perk boys now. I feel like, I feel like that's.
You got that video going, or you just?
I did. I tweeted. I said we're live. I said the Perk Boys are live. And I'm like, I think Kirkland's gonna approve. You know,
I like it. I like the energy that he brings. You know,
yeah, we're the Perk Boys now. You know, Creed has that same energy. We should get a Kurt Angle video with the higher, even though that's a bad connotation. You know, you can take me higher. But so there you go. But so I think that's gonna happen. Even then, it's like. I'm so curious what's going to happen when we get everything revealed, right? Like we've talked about why I don't think you and I have talked about it because it was actually it was you and Dylan that were on the first cast with Sadie Sink News, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like I'm waiting to see that confirmation of who is she playing, because if it is a situation where it is a multiverse movie, because we talked about it, right? If she's like a different MJ in the multiverse, or she's Mayday, and let's say he ends up Tobey Maguire's world, well, that's a perfect explanation, right? For some reason, he gets sucked in, like the same way of like Miles in Beyond Spider-Verse, where it's like, okay, he's in his world, but then he goes to all these different worlds. That would make sense why Peter, Tom Holland's Peter's not around, because he just literally got sucked up and he's somewhere else, right? And again, I don't know if it's a situation where it is like a snap where a life-changing thing happens and that's why Tom Holland gets like brought away somewhere. And again, I don't think for sure he's not in Secret Wars. I think that's why they're not filming these things back together or back to back, because they're waiting for some people to be open. We got some Chris Pratt news here in a second, but I just think there's no way he's not in here. And if it is a multiverse movie, that makes it easier for me. If it's just something like, and this is where this comes from the same guy that he reported that the main villain would be Chameleon. One, don't really want that. I guess I shouldn't say that. I think Chameleon would have fit perfectly if those initial rumors we got like 2 years ago were like, oh, we're doing a street movie. It's going to be Spider-Man team with Daredevil and they're taking on Kingpin. If you were to tell me Chameleon's in that movie, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Like I could see Chameleon palling around in the Kingpin. Like that's a good squad, street level guy, but he has like, master disguise powers, or he is a master disguise, whatever it is, like that fits. If there's some huge, massive, like, multiverse movie, I just don't see, like, I guess maybe, right? Let's say he gets sucked up to Toby's world, he gets there and that's the bad guy, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't see that. And I've still not seen Craven yet. That's the other thing that makes it funny, where it's like, I know he's the bad guy in that, and would they really want to do that? But then I've heard the counter argument of, well, no one really saw Craven, so would that matter? It's like, yeah, probably not. There's not going to be a bunch of people be like, oh, wasn't this the bad guy in Craven? They're not even going to know. They're not even going to care. And I'm not sure how much they did this in Craven. You can spoil this for me. Did he like just get the look, or did he disguise himself a lot? Like, did he change identities a bunch?
It's really not like, he's not even really like the main villain of the movie. It's like setting up at the end.
Okay.
Like, he's
in the
super
future
villain now. And then like last time that he sees Aaron Taylor Johnson, he like changes to the Chameleon classic
I've seen
look where he's got like the white mask.
Yeah.
But it's right at the end of the movie. Like beyond that, for the majority of the film.
Is it a mask or skin in the movie?
I think it's his skin, honestly,
Okay.
because it's like he's getting like, I don't even remember all the details. This movie's fuzzy already in my mind, but like,
and you've seen
he starts like getting like, I don't know, working with a doctor that just like gives him like that ability or whatever it is.
Okay. And that's
correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments.
No one's going to correct you because they haven't seen it. And that's the thing where it's like, that is true, because like no one's going to make a case. It's not like using Green Goblin and it's like, well, you just did him, It's like this one, people aren't going to know. It just feels like an odd fit. So it's just like all this where I could believe if somewhere down the line, this reporter, Scooper, someone's like, oh yeah, they told me, like, I can't remember again because this is when I was gone. I think it was you and Dylan, did you guys talk about that rumored plot of like the Punisher and Spider-Man taking on like a Mad Hulk, or was that Taylor and Dylan? I know it was Dylan.
I remember that. I feel like I was there for that conversation.
So like to me, this stuff of like taking place during Doomsday and Chameleon being the villain, I could see that being something where it's like, oh, that was one version of the movie. And that's where I've said before, I'm sick of this. We report it because that's the news, and especially it is tied with the Doomsday stuff that's coming out. And luckily with Sadie Sink getting cast, I think we're getting closer and closer to like an actual like a plot synopsis of like, here's what we're doing, something, right? But I am so sick and tired of like, even last week there was like another rumor that I gave Dylan and Taylor talk about, and some of the theory of like Spider Island and all this type of stuff, and it's just like, and that to me is more believable because like, oh, if he's in some multiverse where like someone's taking over New York and there are a bunch of spiders, it's like, oh, that makes sense why he wouldn't be with Doomsday because he's dealing with like Spider Island. But this is like, if it's just a movie where he's in New York and Chameleon's like fucking around, it's like, I feel like he'd be like, you know what, Matt, like, take care of that. I'm gonna go fight Doctor Doom. It's weird, and that wouldn't get me too excited either. It's not that I dislike Chameleon. It's just that's not. It just doesn't juice me up as like the main villain. If you were to tell me, if it comes out that, oh, he's actually just one of the villains, or if they're like, hey, we're doing a Sinister Six and Chameleon's in it, oh, that's fine. But if you tell me it's Spider-Man versus Chameleon and that is the one-to-one
poster,
yeah,
like
that's
Tom
the
Holland
poster,
facing down Chameleon.
Same guy from Craven playing him again, and it's like that. I just don't think that's the route. Like, I would much rather, because it's funny, and we don't know, this was originally in my story, and I actually didn't put in the notes for you, but last week, everybody was thinking it was the Osborns, because it came out where it's like, there's two roles that are being cast right now, and it's like a 20s well-off kid, so everyone's like, okay, that's Harry, and then the 50-year-old just described Norman. It's like powerful, sees the world black and white, does anything he wants, but now people are like, oh, that could be Chameleon, like that 50 rich, like powerful guy, that casting call could be Chameleon. It's like, I also don't want that. If they do some situation where like Chameleon acts like a goblin type, just do like Goblin again, or like we've said, like, why don't they just fucking do Hobgoblin? Like that to me is the easiest layup, where it's like, we don't want to do Green Goblin. Sony did that, and we just brought William back, and people might not like it, so what do? Oh, well, here's a new Goblin. Like, I don't know. And that's why I just don't believe this. I don't believe that Spider-Man's not in Doomsday, and I don't believe that Chameleon is the main villain. That would be such a weird layup to me of like what are we doing? And as Bubs, I don't need that either. I do not need Ned as Hobgoblin, but I would take that over I would take that over Chameleon as of right now,
Yeah, no, I agree. I was already pretty low on my believability of the movie being a possibility, and when I saw the Chameleon name, it just didn't make sense to me at all. Thought that he was like big and Craven, but that was like another reason. It was just like, why would they like bring that character and just piecing the Doomsday fit? Like I'm really green when it comes to the like. I'm assuming that's a comic book run, so I really don't know any details about that, or if like Spider-Man has like a specific villain that he fights in the Doomsday that's not Doctor Doom or anything like that. Like I don't know who would make sense for that.
Not Chameleon. There's no like Secret Wars arc where Chameleon's like the main guy,
It seems also just like bad timing to have like a villain like that, like I don't know, just like a street criminal guy like during Doomsday. I would honestly prefer it so much more. Like you mentioned Hobgoblin, I need to get a Hobgoblin appearance before I die. Like I need that. So I definitely want that. I also don't want to just be overshadowed though by like the whole Doomsday event. Like I do want to actually be able to, I don't know, just like have a full movie just about them. And I guess you could do that, like if the Doomsday stuff's going on in the background. But it just seems like the whole focal point is going to be around Downey and like that character. And you can't just have only Downey as like villains for our heroes to fight. So like maybe he's just got some like more lackey types. So maybe this is where you could potentially get some more street, like
Rhino.
easy. Yeah, the rhinos. I was
Scorpion.
Exactly. That was my long way of getting to Rhino. I want to get a good Rhino appearance, and just like, he doesn't have to be a smart guy. Like, he's just a full-on brute.
You just want the Craven villain roster. You want Russell Crowe in there too?
No, I don't need. We could stop there, but
Shocker. That's another good one.
Shocker. Yeah. 100%.
Well, that's why to me it's like, and I don't know if they're going that route, but that's to me where, because here's the thing. I've said this before. It might be a hot take. I hate the Sinister Six that is Kirkland's heard this before, when it's like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Kraven, when it's all like A tier Spider-Man villains and they team up and they can't beat Peter, it's like, why do I never want to see a one-on-one fight with you guys again? Because you six together couldn't get him. But I'm fine if the Sinister Six is a bunch of like B to C tier villains, like that's what I said there. Shocker, like you said, Rhino, Chameleon, Scorpion. Like Scorpion, I have closer to A tier, but that's probably more biased. And then like get Tombstone in there, who's like one more street level guy. Like that could be get Prowler in there and set up Miles Morales. Like that's his uncle, right? Like that to me is like that squad is like, okay, I could see Peter. And even then, like maybe that's why if Sadie Sink is playing Mayday Parker, who's like a spider person, maybe that's where it's like, okay, it's like maybe it's the same. They pretty much did that in No Way Home, right? They had the 3 Spider-Man versus a Sinister 5. And to me, it's like, oh, that's perfect. That makes sense. So they don't want to run that back again, baby. But that's where it's just, I could see that, and that's where I wonder what the huge threat is, and I'm just so curious what this movie is and what's going to happen with it. And yeah, like we reviewed Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, so there's always a part of me when that description came out and people were thinking it was Norman. Again, I very much want them to. I don't care how on the nose it is. I want to wake up one day to Coleman Domingo's playing Osborn, and it's just like, to me that was just like, that's the critical. The chills. That's all that stuff. Because it's like that's yeah. I want Coleman Domingo. That's how they announce it. I wake up like, and he puts on the goblin mask guard though instead. Yeah, or yeah, it's like a green like mouth guard. But so yeah, this is a time where it's like this guy, Justin Harry's got a lot of things right, but I don't believe this. And if it is, then I really need to see how the pieces fit and how Chameleon would work as the main villain. That seems to me, that screams that the actual main story of the movie is more Doomsday / multiverse related, and Chameleon is just kind of on the side, which is not like a good thing, because we've seen many Marvel movies where it's like, oh, it's the Age of Ultron, but then half the movie is setting up Infinity War and like the stones, right? It's like, okay, Ultron was there, but no one, I think, really loves Ultron based on just that movie, right? And I think that suffered from, we're doing too much. And I feel like Spider-Man could be the same way, or the same way as like, I love Zemo, but Zemo, he is the main villain in Civil War, but what people were there for was to see the heroes fight, right? And then you had Zemo on the side. If Chameleon's the main villain, I think it's like that, where he's doing stuff on the side. And of course he can change to people, right? So I wonder if that's how they get like some big actors in there. If like Chameleon's posing as, I don't know, Star-Lord or Downey again or whatnot. I don't know. And yeah, I just, it's an odd fit, but you never know. There's odd stuff. A couple of years ago, I don't think I would be talking about Rebecca Romaine coming back for Doomsday, but here we are. It's happening. So along with this report, this is from him and some other people too, where Chris Pratt, he's not filming, or he's not going to be in Doomsday, I guess, because he's doing the Terminal List season 2. So again, we kind of talked about that, where it's like, oh, why is this guy not in there? That makes sense. He's already buckled down to a show, and then like Secret Wars, I'm sure he'll make it to that one. So it sounds like that's happening. And then this is a good one for Kirkland, because he's on the full camp of it's a fake movie, not happening. There's rumored to be Blade, has rumored to got a director. The Scooper did not for 100% say it was Chad Stahelski, but has heavily heard that it could be. The person apparently there was somebody they were talking to last year was Cary Fukunaga, and I don't think you know that name off of The Hob, but he did the first season of True Detective, and he also directed No Time to Die. So there was that. There's those David Leitch rumors a couple months ago, and now there's this. I don't know, and Mike has a question about this, and I'm going to throw up in a second, but I don't know how any of this is true, but I do think that I'm hoping these are true, because to me, love No Time to Die. David Leitch, I love Bullet Train, like a lot of other stuff he does, and then Chad Stahelski, who's directed, and he's pretty much he's the godfather of John Wick, like that's his baby, right, and everything like that. So to me, after John Wick 4, it's like, man, if you were to tell me I could get a Blade type movie in the John Wick 4 guys, it's like, that's something special. And what I'm saying here is, I hope these rumors are true, even if it's not one of these 3. And I hope that's the route they're going. Okay, Blade's had a lot of issues. What do? We just need to get a great director, because there's many times where we've talked about it before, where there's a big movie and it's some guy that's directed 10 music videos, and great for them, right? Hopefully that's one of us one day at GVS, where it's like, oh, here's the ball. And like, I cheer for those people, because like, yeah, go get your bag, go make a name for yourself. But there's many times for us where it's like, okay, this just feels like Marvel wants a director just to shoot it and get it out there, right? Where to these guys, they Cary Fukunaga, who's not a part of it anymore, but Chad Stahelski, if you get him on board, it's the same way with Sam Raimi. Not everyone loves Multiverse of Madness, but it feels like a Sam Raimi movie. So I hope this is true, and it would be a match made in heaven. I do like David Leitch, but Chad Stahelski is like the superior version of that, because David Leitch was also worked a lot on John Wick as well. So, but Kirkland, you might think this is a dead movie. So do you think none of this even matters, right? It could be one rumor the next day, one rumor this day. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I still will not believe that this is a film that's going to be happening until we actually see it coming out in theaters or get a trailer. Like that'll really be it. Even if we're getting murmurs about directors and stuff like that. With all that being said, I will say I think the Chad Stahelski pairing would just be fantastic. Just all the John Wick action and everything paired with a Blade film. That's like my favorite part about those Blade movies with Wesley Snipes. Like just the action and that's why I like probably one of my favorite genres, honestly, of films. Just action movies. So obviously he can do it very well with just his history, because before he was a director, he was like a stunt coordinator.
He was, worked on the original Matrix and everything like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So get him in there if it happens. I don't think it is, but
would your percentage of the movie because we don't know what's going to happen. I talked about yesterday. He wasn't on any of those chairs. But do you think if at any point they were to announce, and like it actually happened, they announced and you see Mahershala Ali in Doomsday or Secret Wars, would your percentage go up for the movie actually happening if he is in one of those?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now I just have his voice in the MCU, and even
sure,
then,
ready for that, Dane?
I don't even know if that's actually his voice now. I'm like my mind is playing tricks on me. It's just the wind or something in that scene. Kit Harington too. That's another one that just.
He ain't
guess we'll never see him. Yeah.
No. Luckily, you got that draft point. Like it was
that's
worth
true.
it. Eternals, but that's it. No, that's a key member.
Well.
he ends up on the Avengers in the comics.
Yeah.
But
just last thing on the Mahershala Ali. Like if he does appear in that, and they just didn't announce him or anything, like there is no chair with Mahershala Ali on it, I think that would just. I would like almost stand up in the theater. Like I would be so high, especially because I'm just like completely writing off that we're never gonna see it. That would be like my Cap gets picks up Mjolnir in the end game sequence.
That would be that to me is actually an even better way to do it. Not even announce that he's in there, because that'd be a great moment. Just like that'd be such a relief of like finally we're seeing him. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I really want it to, because like I've said before, if we even can't get his movie, I think people just want to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. So it's like whether it's this Midnight Suns, like get him in some sort of crossover so we can like take part in, because I just think that's gonna be perfect casting. It's gonna be one of those, like Snipes is fantastic, but like Ali to me is like a top 3 actor currently, and like if you look at all time, he could climb up there. Like I love Ali and all the work he's done. So we'll see. I don't know. Obviously there's the word is this movie's not going to come out to obviously see after Secret Wars, so maybe it's right around the corner. Who knows? It's been a while. It's kind of crazy that we went through a whole saga. And like they announced at the start of it, and if we get that movie, it's like kicking off the 3rd saga. It's like that's a while. That's wild, especially for me. That was the most exciting thing they announced at Comic-Con when it happened, and I've been jonesing for it ever since. And we're still waiting. So 2 questions about this block here. So let me go here.
There was a photo that they did with Mahershala in. Like he was in the Blade garb, wasn't he? Or am I just imagining?
No,
that?
that's all Photoshop still. Yeah. Okay, so Maddie asked the 2 ones for what percentage would you give the Stahelski Blade rumor being true? I'm gonna say 30%, because I think it all depends what they talk about in the room. I don't know, other than they could be throwing the big bag at him, what upside there is for Chad, because he's already established. The upside to me is purely for Marvel and purely for us as fans, because that's like okay, cool, we know what movie we're getting. But like for him, that's like lots of years of his life. I'm not sure what happens. Like it could be a deal too, where I'm sure he has a production company where that's tied into it as well. I'm not sure, but I don't know. He just, I guess it also depends how Ballerina does, right? Because that's the interesting thing that's coming on a couple months, and I love Ana de Armas, and I'm excited for a movie in that world. But at the same time, I do think that could be a franchise that people are just there for Keanu as John Wick. You know, like they might whatever they try to do to spin it off, it won't matter. And this is coming from somebody that does not want them to do the whole Keanu is alive and we do John Wick 5, right? The only John Wick movie I'll accept with Keanu Reeves if they say, hey, we're doing a prequel about like his old days. I'm like, okay, sure, let's do that. Let's have some fun action. That's fine. But to me, that would really hurt the fourth one. And to me, that fourth one is like, I have no problem making an argument that being like the greatest action movie I've ever seen personally, from just the cinematography to the action to the story beats to the set pieces. It's incredible. So, I'm going to say 30. I just don't see it. But hey, maybe Ballerina bombs and he doesn't necessarily want to do John Wick 5. So it's like, what else? It's like, that might not be a bad, like, hey, I'm going to go make Blade and make some money, right? Because I think that's the thing with those type of directors. I guarantee you they're getting more than the like indie music video directors who are just happy to get it. And they'll probably still get a good paycheck. Don't get me wrong. But the guy who directed the John Wick series is definitely getting a bigger check than some of these other newbies, right? And I also just because like that comes with like you could trust this guy more, right? Like to me, that's almost like a sign of, hey, we've tried so many times to crack this code, we can't. Let's get somebody who we know can do this, and even if it's just, hey, this movie's not gonna have too many story beats, but it's just gonna be a badass Blade vampire action movie. I think people are fine with that. Like again, what did even John Wick for that budget there? Because I know obviously the first few ones were dirt cheap and that's why they were so successful, but like $100 million like for Marvel, that's
For John
a fucking
Wick 4?
Yeah, John Wick 4.
Oh my god.
And that, you know, people are, I'm not trying to shit on it, I think that movie looks probably better than 70% of the MCU. Like,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
easily. I know Superman says technically Len Weissman directed Ballerina, not Chad. I just mean in the sense of two things. One, the rumor is the rumor is that like they reshot a bunch of that fucking movie and it was Chad reshooting it. That's the word going around. I know they said, oh, Len got sick, but it's like so many people of high tier like scoopers have been like, yeah, that's not what happened. It sounded like a Rogue One situation where they looked in and it's like, you got to get in there. But more in the sense, Mike, I mean, like, let's say even if that's not the case, he came in and it's like, let's say Ballerina is a hit. That means, oh, we could make other spinoffs in this universe and that's how he could be making money, right? Because it's his baby, his property. But if like Ballerina dies and you don't want to do John Wick 5, maybe he does want to go, oh, I just want to make a new IP. But maybe if it's something where it's like, I don't have no ideas. We were going to do some more stuff with John Wick, but that's not happening. I'm just going to do Blade to tide me over, right? And maybe he likes it. And like, plus he gets to work with Mahershala Ali. Like, I feel like that's like a winner right there. Like, it's just, that could be really cool. And my last point before I throw Kirkland for the percentage, what I know Mia Goth still somehow signed on to be the villain. We've talked about this for years of how Keanu Reeves live action, not been a Marvel DC. To me, Keanu Reeves as Dracula is a fucking home run casting. I think, because like, I think he could have some fun with it and like to see all, because you know he can do the stunts. Like that poster, you talk about Spider-Man Chameleon poster.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie as Blade, Keanu Reeves as Dracula. That's
Fuck,
that's juicy right there. That's
Has Keanu
good.
ever been like a villain in anything before?
I don't know. It's funny. There was rumors in the Hobbs and Shaw movie. Supposedly he was supposed to be the villain, but they could never sign a contract. So the whole that movie, there's like a voice that's a villain, and it sounds a little like Keanu, but it doesn't. But you never see him.
It's like the Blade thing.
Yeah, but that was the rumor. He was going to be like the Thanos of the Fast and Furiouses, where he was going to be the new big bad for all of them, but they couldn't work it out. So I don't know. Let's see. Keanu Reeves.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Villain. Oh, anyway, sorry. Before Kirk goes, my point is like, do Blade for that 100 million, like around then. Don't go and say, oh, we're gonna make it 200 million, 150. Like, make it, hey, we're gonna give you a smaller budget, we'll pay you more, but like, that's what I've always said. Same thing. Like, I want in a couple years, I want a 60 to 80 million Punisher movie, because I guarantee you the Punisher movie can go out and at least make a fucking 100 million. Like, but let me see. So yeah, what is your percentage for this actually happening? The Chad directing.
My percentage was already low that we were even going to get the movie, so
Yes.
you know, just focusing on the Chad pairing, I'm gonna say 20%. I'll go pretty low.
20%.
But like my want, you know, that would be very, very high. That high 90s, I would say.
Oh yeah, that's 100% one for me.
Yeah.
You know, so let's see. I'm pretty sure the voice in Hobbs and Shaw is Ryan Reynolds, but distorted, unless I'm confused it with something else. Well, it could be because Ryan Reynolds is in Hobbs and Shaw, but I just remember that was the hot rumor that it was going to be Keanu. So here's some movies. So Donnie Barksdale in The Gift. In a supernatural thriller, Reeves plays a character entangled in a web of dark secrets, showcasing a departure from his typical charming persona. Never heard of this movie. And then he plays a cult leader in The Bad Batch. Reeves takes on a role of ruthless cult leader, further expanding his range of villainous roles. Okay, let me do some screen sharing here and bring this up, 'cause I've never heard of these movies.
No, me neither. Like what era? Like 90s?
We're gonna find out together, Kirkland,
Okay,
because
I like it.
that's what I love about movies. There's thousands of movies that almost every year I find out, and like I'm like, oh, that's a thing. Okay. Oh my, look at this. I've never known this. So this is him in The Gift. This is
pull it up so I can see it?
god. Oh, sorry, I didn't say. My bad. That's him, The Gift, right there. The Gift is a Raimi movie. You said there as well. Is that one he directed, or is it one that he produced here?
Directed by Sam Raimi, 2000. That's crazy.
I've never seen this movie of Raimi's. Wow, I think I'm adding this to the
58%.
watch list right now.
Hilary Swank. Look at this cast.
Yeah. I don't know why this doesn't open up it won't open up the fucking bigger poster or anything like that. God damn. So I guess he's a bad guy. Oh my god, just give me a big image. Oh, they're getting smaller with each click. I give up.
God.
I'll have that
You
later.
can buy it for $10 there.
There we go. The Gift. And then what was the other one? There was
Great
The
Canadian.
Bad Batch.
Donnie Barksdale. That's that's a good name.
Oh,
my
man.
god! Look at that mustache. Oh my! You look
Trippy
like Adam
Bad
Driver
Batch
there.
with Keanu Reeves disappoints. Oh boy. Okay.
Look at that.
I'm gonna say,
Looks
this
like an
is.
Austin Powers villain.
I'm pretty sure I've wanted to watch this. I'm pretty sure The Bad Batch is this person that directed the No, I think I'm wrong with that. Am I? Yeah, I'm wrong with that. Never
Jim
mind.
Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, Jason Momoa. So, yeah,
Diego
no,
Luna.
I was thinking Revenge, but The Gift is a Raimi movie, and Espo's never seen it. Espo's seen a lot of those, so that's interesting. So I'm gonna have to check that out. So yeah, he's not really played a villain. And then Maddie also asked, I forgot to say this in the other portion here. If Chameleon is the villain, and they go the villain, and they go for a take similar to what we got in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man animated show, a criminal / gangster who's a master of disguise as opposed to a shapeshifter mystique, who would you like to see cast in the role? I think in that situation, like, you just get a good character actor and that's it. Like, if it's going to be a guy, you put in a silver face, or a guy, it's like Clayface, where it's like, if his gimmick is that he's turning it, if it's like Mission Impossible style even, right, where he's different masks, like, you don't need a really great, like, you don't need an expensive actor, I'll say. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you go find someone on Broadway, you find someone on a streaming show where you're like, this guy's really good, not to sound mean, but like, we can pay him a lot of money. It's kind of like Ralph Ennison, who's doing Galactus, right? Like, he has a great voice, he's a fantastic actor, but you don't need to go get someone that's super expensive for Galactus, right? You just need a great voice. So that's the same way where it's like, get someone that's good for those scenes. But I know it's a cop out. If I'm trying to think of someone, Maddie, I really don't know, like, off the top of my head, of who would be like, I'm trying to think who's like a guy, like someone with like that can do a lot of impressions, I guess, you know. Get me a serious Bill Hader. That's what I'll say. A serious Bill Hader from Barry.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't think this character's happening. I don't think this cast would be happening. But my mind just went to Cillian Murphy. I just take his character from Peaky Blinders, just the street villain, Thomas Shelby, and just
Coming off an
shapeshifts.
Oppenheimer. Who you playing? I'm playing the Chameleon.
Doing it
Yeah.
for his sons, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than the rumor of him playing fucking Quirrell in Harry Potter. That's when we're like, hey man, like, unless
Professor Quirrell. Interesting.
yeah, that was a rumor going on. So it's like, fuck, unless they're throwing in the bag again, it's like, I don't know about that, but we will see. So that is it for now for the Marvel stuff. I'm sure next week there'll be more Doomsday stuff. Next week, CinemaCon, so we'll see what's going on there. So we're gonna take our first ad break, and we will be right back. And we are back. So, Kirkland, we've talked about this a few times, but Bond, as of right now, has a new rumored director, and then has some producers going on. So they're doing the route of, it is David Heyman and Amy Pascal, who are going to be the producers of the Bond movie. So what's different about this is they didn't sign them on because the rumors are they're doing spin-offs and TV shows. They didn't sign them up to be like the Kevin Feige's or anything. They're just like, hey, they're doing one movie. And obviously they have a very different track record, but they have lots of big films. I'll bring this up. Do you know the name Amy Pascal Kirkland?
Oh yeah,
Okay, so
sister of Pedro, right?
yeah, of course, of course. So she has a very spotty but great track record at the same time. Obviously, I've had issues because she's produced some of the Sony Marvel stuff, but I'm gonna go down everything from when she started producing from 2016. So it started off with the 2016 Ghostbusters. I'm gonna put them in the not good category. Spider-Man: Homecoming, Molly's Game, The Post, all good to great movies. So there you go. You got Venom, which results may vary. Girl in the
Thumbs up.
Spider's Web, which I've never seen, and then you got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Far From Home, and then you got Little Woman, which to me is a big thumbs up. That's a big one. And then Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home, Across the Spider-Verse. Challengers, which is a thumbs up. Goodrich, which I've never seen, and then Venom: The Last Dance, and then she's producing some TV show that's coming out this year. So that's a very honestly, I kind of forgot about Challengers that she was on that. I think it's just because we've talked about her over the years. There's been some memes about her with Feige. Do you remember that time we covered a long time ago where she was talking about that Venom was in the cinematic universe and Kevin Feige was sitting next to her,
100%.
and he was just like that. And then the next time they did an interview, they clarified it and everything. So you got her. And then
After the
David,
interview, he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" What
Yeah.
did you say?
I'm not even gonna go down David Heyman's list because he has tons of stuff. He's produced 65 things.
Wow.
He produced Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but the biggest thing is he was one of the shepherds between the Harry Potter series, and that's where the rumor comes in that supposedly the newest person on the block is Alfonso Cuarón, who did Prisoner of Azkaban. He did Gravity. He did. I'm trying to. What are you laughing about there?
I was thinking of a different movie. Gravity's the one with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, and Clooney when they're in
okay.
space. And she
My
gets
mind
stuck
went to
up-
Passengers with Chris Pratt.
No,
and,
not that.
Jim.
He did. Obviously, we just talked about it earlier this year for the patrons. Children of Men, which that was a great time. We got to review that. So obviously, it's I think all of us here were big Nolan nights. We would want Christopher Nolan, but if you're not going to get him, Alfonso Cuarón, that's another big name. That's a name that fits. But how do you feel about these people being not like the shepherds, but it's okay.
Yeah.
They're going to do one Bond film. Obviously I'm not sure if this is going to be a trend in Hollywood where it's a couple of years ago we got Peter Safran and James Gunn. And now it's before it was who's going to do it? Now it's we got Amy Pascal, produced lots of big movies at Sony, and then David Heyman, who produced lots of big movies at Warner Brothers, now coming together at Amazon. So it's another situation where people are combining. I even think that could happen when Feige leaves, that I could see two people running the MCU going forward. So yeah, what do you think about that? And then what do you think about Cuarón? Because obviously you've seen Gravity, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you've at least seen 3 of his movies. I'm not sure if there's more, but I'll
Yeah,
take a
and
look.
then so they would be. Sorry, just help me clarify here. You the producer, what would be their titles? Of
Yeah,
the Bond
producers,
stuff
main
going
producers.
forward, or
No,
just for this one?
just the
title?
one movie.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising because it's just
Yes.
two massive titans shepherding in one single standalone movie. On one hand, I really like the idea of it's just okay, let's just focus on one standalone story and then see where it goes from there. Not so much we're needing the incentive to be okay, we need to have a 6-movie setup and
Yeah.
this has to we're doing our retros
us
right
your
now, but
BCU pitch.
I've been watching Dead Reckoning, and I'm man, just the idea of okay, this has to be told over 2 stories. It's just it can be a slippery slope sometimes when you do that. And I
Well,
like
look,
the
they
idea
even
of-
changed the title of that movie. Remember the first
Yeah.
time Mission
Well, I started
Impossible
watching
tried
it,
to
it
do
said part 1, and I just chuckled
Yeah.
to myself. It's no,
the
no,
first
no.
time Mission Impossible tried to do the whole connected movies. They backpedaled
Yeah.
right away. They're oh no, that's the reason it failed. It's a part 1. Sorry.
Yeah, so I really like the idea of just this is we're coming off of the Daniel Craig era, and that was a long journey with him. We obviously saw the conclusion of that, but let's just focus on one anthology project, just a new adventure with the James Bond stuff, and then just see where it goes. I imagine it's going to be a big hit when it comes out, just financially wise. I think just the name alone it just gets people in the theaters for. There's gonna be a lot of pressure for it, obviously, to be very successful because of what went on with Daniel Craig. A lot of people say it's the best James Bond ever, and they have an argument for it.
And it's not coming off I love Pierce, but what is
Pierce
it?
was always my favorite growing up. You know,
Pierce
just,
is
just the era I think of when I grew up in. He was the best.
I always do the answer. Pierce is my favorite. Craig's the best, though. That's how I go. I know people are gonna argue me on Connery, but to me, Craig is like every single Bond rolled into one, in my opinion. You see a little bit of Moore, a little bit of Pierce, a little bit of Connery, a little bit of Dalton. I don't know about Lazenby. He had one movie. We'll get
Did
there
he have
one
the
day.
most movies? Like, who had the most movies?
Moore, Roger Moore. He went on for a while. I think he was playing
Oh,
Bond
okay.
like he was either 60 or about to be 60 when he was still playing
Oh,
Bond.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he went
Never
on
mind then.
he went on for a while there. So, yeah, to me, on especially Amazon paid a bunch of money to get MGM, but then they had the problem of, well, they didn't fully own Bond. So what did they do? They had to pay another $1 billion to fully own Bond. They've paid so much money. I can see them being like, we don't want to sign any producers to like a 6-movie contract. Like, let's just see how it goes. And to me, it's like kind of smart financially and just even planning wise too, because like, not that someone would be lazy, right? Because it's like, I would hope any producers, especially because the Broccoli's have always had it, if any producers got the Bond franchise, and let's say you're like Craig, you're making 4 movies, I would hope it's like, okay, we're gonna make the best Bond movies we could, right? But for me, I feel like if you say, hey, you only got one shot of this, I feel like you're even more motivated now. Now the pressure's there for those producers. Maybe you overproduce it and you're like, fuck, we went too hard, right? Like we tried to put too much stuff in there, but I'm trying to be positive, hoping that will just motivate these two. Of like, we got one shot, because to me, the fact that it's not even they did okay, we're gonna let them do 4 movies, but like the TV show spin-offs, we're gonna give it to someone else. It's literally just no, you two get one movie. That to me is Amazon throwing their dick on the table and being like, this is one your shot. Because if this movie comes out and it tanks, or people don't like it, or they don't like the casting of Bond, you're gone, because it's a one picture thing, right? The only thing that fucks Amazon, and they got the money, so they don't care. If it's a huge hit, then those 2 producers get to go back to the table and be like, oh, like now you want us to do 3 to 4, and we did a massive hit, and now you're gonna have to re-sign us to more money, right? But again, I think Amazon's not worried about that. I think they're just worried about like what's the right message. And same thing, let's say they sign these people to a 3 to 4 movie contract, the first one sucks. What they're gonna have to do is, okay, we don't want to use them, but then they're just gonna like have to pay them out a bunch of money that they didn't even use them for. Like, it's like, that's where I actually think this is. I'm not the biggest fan of the Pascal hire, even though there's some great things she has done. I think that's a little rocky. Heyman, I can definitely see like that makes tons of sense. If it wasn't one of the Nolan brothers. So it's strange, but maybe 2 people, again, that shows like the gravity, if no pun intended, of the situation, what they brought to it. But I think it's smart, because it's, you gotta deliver a great movie, because if you're not, then that will come out and we'll go on to the next producers. It's kind of like it's an audition, but it's a weird audition, because it's not just like go make a Bond short film. It's literally like, you're going to make our first Bond Amazon film, which has to hit, because I feel like already people, including myself, look at it and go, like I've seen so many Bond fans be like, my Bond now is like the first Connery to the Craig thing, and that's it. Like, I don't think Amazon's going to do right by it. I think they're going to, water it down and cheapen it with the spinoffs. I think a lot of people will have that mindset going in of like, if this doesn't hit, I'm kind of done with Bond for now. Because you're not lacking Bond films. You have so many Bond films to watch.
It's a very similar thing with like the Rings of Power situation. How they they change some of the book canon, and then of course it's like, well, I have my stories. Same thing happens with Star Wars, and it's just it's never ending. Oh no, I forgot what I was going to jump into a previous past, but. Yeah, that's what we
Mike
got.
says Dalton's the most underrated great actor. I need to go back, because I never loved those when I was younger. But as we've said before, our plan with the next Bond retrospective is we're waiting for the date, and then what we're going to do is on Patreon, we're going to throw up a poll, and it's going to be either Craig, Moore, Pierce, or the Lazenby Dalton era, and you guys are going to pick the retros, and we'll do that series. Every Bond movie, we'll do one Bond actor and go from there. So, but yeah, I can't comment. I haven't seen it in a while. I've never gone back to them too much. So we'll get there eventually, the Timothy Dalton one. So
I definitely have not seen all the Bond films. There's
Oh,
many that
yeah.
I would have to catch up on.
yeah, and Caron, that's a great pick. I love Gravity. I think Children, like on that special I gave on the retro thing I gave a 10. Like, that's up there. If you tell me, hey, give me the top 10 sci-fi movies all time or whatever, just like it is science fiction, but it's just like alternate realities, whatever genre Children of Men is in, it's a top tenner. Like from the story, from the acting, from like we talk about the one shot somewhere in there. I loved Gravity. I did not like Roma really at all. And funny enough, it's coming from me that I think Prisoner of Azkaban is like highly overrated, but I still think it's a great, like, well-made movie. I don't look at it because it's bad. It's just, it's not my cup of tea. And there's some things where I think they're needing more. But he's a great director, and of course I want Nolan. But at the same time, if you look at what Amazon is doing here, right, where it's like, okay, they're giving these people one movie. Even then, I could see Nolan, because there was always the rumor why the Broccolis didn't work with him. Nolan wanted Final Cut. I can already see Amazon being like, we're not going to give Nolan Final Cut. I think that's a mistake. I think you roll the dice, because I just think that there's maybe only one time to do this, and this is now. And now I guess maybe if this movie bombs and it sucks, then you go back to Nolan and go, okay, we actually really screwed up. Could you do Bond film for us? But at that point, I'm like, yeah, nah, like, you could have came to me before. Like, so if Nolan's off the table, which sucks, I think that's a dream for me. Cuarón is like another really good pick. Like, that's one that does get me excited. You know, I think there's some good juice to be squeezed there. So
I'd be down.
Yeah, let me find. Maddie did have a question about this.
I guess one thing I'll add on to the Cuarón pairing of just looking at Prisoner of Azkaban, because that's like the one I'm the most familiar with out of all those projects, the one I've seen the most. I feel like looking at that movie, I do agree. I think people rate it a little bit too highly than what it is, but that movie has so many different things going on in it, and I feel like throwing it into a James Bond just skin, I think that could actually be a really good pairing with just the levels of intensity and just lightheartedness and all that stuff, some romance.
Do you have, that's what May asked, other than Nolan, do you have any other directors that you like to get the shot Bond? Cuarón is definitely one. Like, I hear that and I go, yeah, that makes sense to me. Danny Boyle's another one, because he was supposed to do No Time to Die, and then that didn't work out. He's always been trying to do a Bond movie. Like, it's a fucking obvious one, but like, if you can't get Nolan, Denis would be like,
I was gonna say Denis,
yeah, like that's another big dream one right there, where it's kind of, because I remember when they asked him about, hey, would you ever do a comic book movie, and he said, oh, the only one I would do is Batman. Nolan and Denis are very different directors, but I think they're in that same scope of, I feel like there'd be similar beats to a Nolan Batman and a Denis Batman, right? Where it's something like where Matt Reeves, very different director, and hey, fucking Matt Reeves, that'd be another great Bond director. Let's say they cancel Batman 2. Give him Bond. Like, that'd be fucking great to get Pattinson as Bond. Just fucking do it. Could you imagine the universe where James Gunn cancels Batman 2 and they go do Bond movie as Pattinson and him, and it's just like fucking the best thing ever. But so yeah, I'd actually throw Matt Reeves. I don't think it has to be a British director. That happened in the 90s where Steven Spielberg many times said he tried to pitch himself doing Bond. And they're like, nope, we're going to keep to the rules of being British. It's like, man, like, it's like the Nolan thing. It's like, anybody that say, you know what, we're not going to have Steven Spielberg direct a Bond movie, I'm like, why did you not take the shot? Unless this guy wanted, like, just buckets of money. It's like, take the shot. Like, let Steven Spielberg direct a fucking Bond movie. And same thing with Nolan. So that would be me. Like, I like Cuarón, Danny Boyle, Denis Villeneuve, and yeah, randomly throw Matt Reeves in there. Fuck it. Let's, like, some of, like, the Batman's a beautiful looking movie. So I'd love to see, like, that has to do with Craig Fraser too, but just like the pacing of it, like, and think about this Apes movie. Like, there's tons of great action set pieces in there. So yeah, fuck, give it to Matt Reeves, you know?
Absolutely. JJ, he's not doing anything. JJ Abrams.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be like him doing Star Trek to Star Wars. It'd be like Mission Impossible to Bond there. So yeah, I'm trying to think. What about I'm trying to look if I miss anyone. Someone put Tarantino. Like, no, like I love Tarantino, but I don't think that's I don't think it's a good fit. Yeah, Steve McQueen's another good one. I like that. I'm trying to think if there's anyone newer.
Mike said Guy Ritchie.
No, I can't. I would like a James Bond type of movie, but not actually him direct James Bond. I don't think he would do this because here's my pitch. I don't know if he would do it because I feel like he wants to be in the horror realm and do weirder stuff. But if they want to go around, because they've said, hey, the only thing we're doing with Bond, we're not making him a woman, which I agree with. They said, like, doesn't matter. Like, obviously they're going to keep him British, but like, we don't care about his race. Whoever's best is best. And this director is notoriously has never said like he's not going to work with white directors, but he's always said like he wants to put people of color, specifically black people, as the mainstay of his story because he's seen enough stories of the white lead. He wants to tell a black story. If you're going to go and this, I don't think would ever happen. If you're going to go and get a black James Bond and really step forward, we want to put a thumbprint on it, get me Jordan Peele. Like, to me, especially because Nope, some of those sequences are fantastic. That's everybody too, like second unit cinematography, but like some of the action set pieces, that shot of, I always talk about my favorite shot of that year, the fucking house and it's dripping in blood. Like, just take that and be like, hey, just don't do an action side. Like, do that now with Bond. I don't think Peele would ever go for it. But imagine the fucking internet if you wake up that Jordan Peele is directing a Bond movie.
John David Washington's is Bond.
Sure. Yeah, sure. But like that would be a wild day. Like I would love that. But
Yeah.
I just don't know if he even wants to do that. I just get the vibe. He'd be like, nah, like that's too mainstream for him. But I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe his next movie bombs and same thing as like Chad Stahelski's like, oh, maybe I should do this Bond movie. But I don't think so. I'd love it though.
I'd like to see that multiverse.
Yeah, that'd be, give it a little bit horror edge, but yeah, we'll see. We'll keep tracking the Bond stuff. It's like we got the buyout, we got the producers. We're probably within this year. Ooh, do you think we get Bond this year? Like not the movie, like the actor.
Ooh,
Or do you think we get director first?
I think we get director first.
Ooh, that's another good one too, Ryan Coogler. Because there's so many.
Ooh,
We talked
yeah.
about that when we reviewed Black Panther. That scene when he goes to hunt down Claw and he's in the casino and they have the car chase. That is and even the scene with T'Challa and Shuri when they're doing the whole queue and she's walking them through like all the type of gadgets. That's Bond. Oh, so Superman, like
100%,
that's actually Ryan Coogler would fucking kill it with Bond. Yeah, that's my top draft pick now of like actually
100%.
someone believable. That's a good one, Mike.
Yeah, good pick.
Oof. But yeah, do you think we get the Bond actor this year? Or do you think it would be like, do you think we get actor, director, both, none? Because we're still only March, so we got a long time to go. And if they got the
A lot of year
producers
left.
yeah, I think if they got producers, they're starting to make a move.
I think we'll get director first, but I do think we'll still get the James. We'll see James this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a yes on both of them because I bet it's going to be a situation where it's like get director, actor this year, and then obviously the rest of the cast. But then like next year they start to shoot, and then 2027, like Amazon. Let me just check when Amazon bought MGM. Amazon buys MGM. They bought this in 2000. Okay, so it was announced in 2021, finalized in 2022. So even let's just say 2021, they've already been waiting 4 years to make a Bond movie. So it's like I feel like Amazon is like, let's fucking get cracking on this.
Yeah.
We've waited
I feel
too
like they're
long.
gonna put the gas pedal down and just get it going.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. I'm excited for whatever I actually don't know. I'm so curious how the vote goes with the patrons. I feel like they're either going to pick Connery or Pierce because I feel like we have a lot of people our age that are patrons. So I feel like Pierce they grew up with, but I also see a lot of people being sentimental and be like, start with the first one. Like that's what I think they're going to go with, but maybe I'll be surprised. I know Mike, I guess he's going to be voting for Timothy Dalton, so you never know. So we'll do that. But anything else on Bond, Kirkland?
No, I'm excited for more deets.
I am excited too. You know what I'm excited about? This next ad break. We'll be right back. And we're back. So I got a lot of stuff just to throw up at you here. So we're just gonna go by the. Usually I do a round fire, like with trailers, or it's like I got this news. I got too much news to do this, so we're gonna do one by one. So this is a mix of horror and sci-fi announcements. Kirkland, how do you feel about a live-action Scooby-Doo series at Netflix? Confirmed this week, not rumored. Netflix tweeted out. They showed the title page of the script. That is happening. How do you feel about this? And what is just your affinity or not affinity with Scooby-Doo? Like, did you grow up as a Scooby-Doo kid? Do you not care about it? It's kind of like how, I don't know if you're this way. Whenever we do the Game Awards, I have to hear Dylan like foolishly shit on the Muppets. And it's like, for me, the Muppets, big childhood
You
heroes.
sure it's not me? Because I shit on the
Then it's
Muppets.
both of you. Then it's both of you. But
I
like,
also am like terrified of like just puppet things, and I feel like that was like just a childhood thing. So that was probably why my hatred grew.
And you can't trust Kirkland. Emily reminded me today because there was a poll in our Alexa box here about that you and Shay wear socks and sandals. I'm like, oh right, you guys are those people. I can't.
Absolutely.
I can't
Socks
trust
and
you.
Birks. Okay, it's a little bit different. I don't
Yeah,
rock any sandals, but glad you remembered. what was your question? Oh, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, no, I have a lot of history with Scooby-Doo, actually. I feel like I've seen pretty much all of the shows around the time when like they probably did like new Scooby-Doo like later on. I never watched the what was it, the Velma show. I I watched a lot of it in that youth range. What's New Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo Where Are You? I think that was the two big ones, and then there's just one called Scooby-Doo, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot of different variations.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, okay.
I love Scooby-Doo, but there's like 12,
Yeah.
there's like dozens
There's
of
a
different
lot,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching a bunch of the animated films, and then I really love those live action ones. I think those are just really near and dear to my heart. I remember watching them a lot as a kid, and I'm totally down for this. I pitched it to Shay. It was funny. She was pretty uncertain reaction, but like because she's a big Scooby-Doo fan, but just another live action, and I like it. I think I'd prefer. I don't even know what I would prefer, honestly. Because there is a lot of Scooby-Doo animated stuff out there. Nevertheless, I have Netflix. I'm probably always gonna have Netflix, so I'm gonna be checking this out for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely one that it's like it's gonna have to like obviously it's gonna be binge. So I feel like I could watch the same thing, or like I'll watch the whole thing. I wonder what type of vibe they're gonna go for. If it's gonna be kind of like Wednesday, where it's younger adult but darker. I don't want it to be. I know people have made those jokes. I don't want it to be the Riverdale vibe in the sense of like, I don't want a scene where Fred and Daphne are in the fucking hot tub and like they're making hard on jokes. So like, I still think this should be a movie or a show that I could watch with my kids, right? Like in that sense, like I don't think you should ever do that unless it was like a one-off where, hey, we're gonna make a Radar Scooby-Doo movie just to see and let's go. But a whole series, it's like, I don't know. So I think there should be like PG-13, like the Shrek humor, where you could have those jokes, but it's jokes that they should not be able to get, right? Like me and the girls saw the new Looney Tunes movie, and there was actually a bunch of those type of jokes that like I was like, oh wow, but they would never understand that, right? So that's the type of adult humor I would accept, but I still think it should be that we could all watch it. I think this is like the next best option, I guess, because I don't think they would do a movie. And to me, I thought we had a shot. I think it's dead now. I thought we had a shot of getting a legacy sequel movie because Matthew Lillard is like hotter than he's ever been. Like he's in Five Nights at Freddy's. He's going to be in Daredevil season 2. You know, I feel like him and Shaggy memes are still alive. What was I gonna say? Like, Sarah Michelle Gellar's doing the Buffy revival. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s he's acting again. Like they're doing another I Know What You Did Last Summer. All these people, and we're gonna talk about Linda Cardellini in a second. All these people are like more relevant than they've been like the past decade. So I thought like now's the time, like pull that trigger. And again, I feel like if same thing as that, waking up and seeing the Jordan Peele news. If we were to wake up and you were to hear Matthew Lillard's coming back officially as Shaggy in a movie, that nostalgia timeline is like that's huge.
Chills.
Yeah, but I think this announcement shows okay, that's not gonna happen, and that's sad. So I'll check this out. I don't have a good barometer because Netflix is I will definitely not say hit or miss, but they're not like without their flaws. This could definitely just be complete shit.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know.
It could definitely fall into the category of being extremely just bland and forgettable, and like, oh yeah, I remember they did that that Netflix Scooby-Doo show. It's kind of how I was pretty warm on it at the time of release, but like I kind of forgot that they did a live action Avatar show, and I love like Avatar, but it just it nowhere near met like the same level what the animated show was for me, and unfortunately I'll check out the next season, but like it's just pretty bland.
Yeah, and that's how I felt like it was not to the same level, but when they did the 90s show, like the 70s show sequel, first season to me was like it was good, like it was all right, but then me and Emily, I think we watched 3 episodes of the second season and it felt like really, really bad, and then they just announced it was canceled. And that's where I feel like the Scooby-Doo route could go, where a lot of people check out that first season because it's Scooby-Doo, but if it's a mediocre show, they put out that second season, like the viewership drops, and then that's kind of it, right? Because I feel like people are going to initially check it out, and hopefully Scoob looks good, hopefully he's not.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I hope. So I've seen some bad stuff on Netflix too, CGI-wise. You never know. So
fair enough.
Yeah. But what is next here on this? So Resident Evil movie directed by Zach Cregger, that's the guy who did The Barbarian. He's got a movie coming out in August called Weapons, which is apparently testing really well because Warner Brothers like moved it up in the schedule. He's directing Resident Evil. So Austin Abrams from Euphoria and other stuff, that's an A-tier source of him being the lead of the movie. The Mikey Madison rumor, that's like a higher C-tier type of rumor. I don't know if the Mikey Madison offer talks was before an Oscar, after an Oscar, but how would you feel about these two being in a Resident Evil movie? And is this believable? Obviously, like I said, Austin Abrams, I think that's kind of a done deal. The Mikey Madison one sounds like it's a bit more up in the air right now.
I like both of them. I like both the names. It's just an interesting team up, I think, for a project like this, specifically because Mikey Madison just won an Oscar. It just seems like an interesting jump going from that to this. I really don't believe that she is going to be a part of this project, but if it does, get confirmed and she is a part of it with Austin Abrams, I think both of them are extremely talented, and hopefully we get just like a god tier script, because I don't know, I like Resident Evils. I'm not really in it for like a really in-depth crazy story. Like it's just like a big action fest in my mind. Maybe some good horror moments. We had a good time with the show. And it's just
Did a full 180.
That's not really where I necessarily want like both of the actors in. Like I would much rather
Really
Madison in a more just drama heavy role, like a Tarantino type.
Well, she's done it before.
I didn't realize I saw her in that before.
She already checked that box. She's like what? She's like fucking 25, 26. It's like work with Tarantino, in a Scream movie, won an Oscar.
She's killing it.
It's like one of those things like you could just call it
Resident
right now.
Evil.
Yeah, right.
That's her next check. And then
like
Austin
way
Abrams
down
as
there.
well. Like I think he's very like he's got a big range on what he can do. So I haven't really seen him, I don't think, in anything like action heavy.
He was in that movie I still haven't seen at Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Remember that action movie where he was like a hitman?
Yeah, it was on Apple, I think.
Yeah, Apple. Yeah, like to me that Abrams fits like a glove here to me, because it's like he's still not like an established star, right? So it's like this could potentially be a franchise for him. And yeah, he was in Euphoria, but like to me what sucks, like he didn't even come back for season 3. He wasn't on the list of actors coming back. And I thought, like we've talked about when we reviewed that show, like that episode where they did the play and he played all those roles, like that to me was like every agent in Hollywood's like, we got to get this guy. And I was so disappointed. It's like, oh, Euphoria, like he gave that all-star performance and we're not bringing him back. Like I don't even know what his story was, but like at least get him there. So to me, this makes sense. Mikey Madison's like, you never know with Oscars, right? Because like, I'm not trying to say this to crap on her, because I think she's a great actress. She was my pick for Captain Marvel. But like Brie Larson, she's in Room, wins an Oscar. Next thing is she cashes in, goes to Captain Marvel, right? $1 billion movie, huge. But then if you look, like obviously the Marvels, not the greatest. She joined the Fast and Furious franchise. Like if you were to look at her career post Captain Marvel, you wouldn't look at it as like an Oscar winner career, right? Like you never, and even Nick Cage had that, right? Where like everyone forgets that Nick Cage has won an Oscar, but then he has like 10 to 15 years of just being in like the schlockiest, crappiest stuff, like Bangkok, yeah, like all this stuff, right? So it's like you never know, just because you automatically win an Oscar, it's like okay, now they're not going to do this stuff. So it's just like, what does Mikey want to do? It would be an odd pick. The only thing that makes this potentially not odd is like, because I can hear the doubt in your voice. I know Mike has had doubt. For me, it's like, and I think I liked Barbarian less than you and Taylor, but for me, I just look at that and go, the guy that did Barbarian, if he's doing the Resident Evil movie, it's not going to be what I don't think it's going to be, talking about schlock. I don't think it's going to be that. I think that's kind of like hey, I got a full new take on Resident Evil to use characters in that property, but it's going to be like a thinking man woman's horror movie, not just guns and tits and here we go. Like it's not gonna be Mikey Madison on a poster like with like, I think it's gonna be something where
the fridge open.
who left the virus fridge open, like I think it's gonna be something where that's why a Mikey Madison would do this, because it's Resident Evil, had a shaky ground, but look at Zach Cregger. And again, we haven't seen a trailer, we don't know anything about it, but this movie Weapons, which I think, at least me and Taylor, I imagine you might, but like that's supposed to come out in August. And once we get that going, like I have a feeling with Warner Bros. Moving it up, that could be another great movie. So if that's like Barbarian level, and you got this guy that has 2 under his belt, and in Hollywood these things travel, so you would have Mikey's like agent being like, oh yeah, they're really high on this movie. Like that's another notch in his belt. Like, and Resident Evil, that's a potential franchise that he could span off. Do I think this happens? I don't. Like it's tough because we've heard Mikey rumored for Marvel and this. It's like I think everybody right now is trying to get her, right? And that's what makes it very tough. And she's young, and obviously she got an aura, but that was more the director approached her. I hope she's got a good agent that like you do gotta pick correctly kind of after an Oscar win, and especially so young, right? It's not like as Superbad Mike says Agent Brody, which is true, but even look at Agent Brody. He won an Oscar, did a bunch of schlock, and then came back and won another Oscar. He didn't win that when he was super young, where Mikey, like she's fucking not even 30 yet. And it's just like, what it's like when you're talking about drama, it's like, what does she want her career to be? You know, does she just want to be that? Does she just want to be drama, independent woman for the rest of her life? Which I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Or does she, maybe she looks at it as like, I'm going to fucking cash in. Like, I'm going to use this Oscar, get like a bunch of big paychecks. Cause like, maybe you do that. Cause some people might have that where it's like, that's Chalamet, right? He says, I want to be considered the greatest actor of all time. That's where he's not doing Resident Evil. He's not going to be in superhero stuff. But maybe there's some, he did that. You didn't hear about that? A lot of people got mad about that speech.
Remember the speech.
Yeah.
I'm picturing him, you know, who let the fridge open? I'm just picturing that same
him and Mikey together. Like Austin has a job until Timmy shows up. But it's like, and I bet there's some people that win an Oscar and they're just like, oh, fuck it. Like, that was a goal of mine. I did it. They don't look at it as like, I want to win 2 and 3 and win the record. Like I checked it off. So I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I want now. Maybe Mikey wants to be, and that boosts Resident Evil up. Like that's a head scratcher. But if she gets cast at, that's a lot of people being like, okay, I'm going to pay attention to this. And that again is another sign. Oh, this is not the Resident Evil Taylor grew up with. And the one that he wants to, you know, stuff like that. Or you go the half and half route like Jennifer Lawrence. You do. Because she did that mix of back and forth. But I would put out there that I think the mainstream stuff hurt her. Not so much Hunger Games, but I think her being in so many of those X-Men movies hurt her. And I think stuff like Passengers did hurt her. And I think there were a time where she was in so much that people did get sick of her. And she even spoke about that, where she felt like she needed to go away. And I think that was smart. But I think in the long run, some of those bigger franchises hurt Lawrence than helped her, you know, in my opinion. And now she's back. Like, I can't wait. She's doing a A24 movie next year, Raw Passing. Like, fuck. Like, I can't wait to see that come. But again, that's what I want Jennifer Lawrence in. I don't want her in that stuff. And with Mikey, I don't know, because we've not seen enough of her. She was in Scream. I think she can do everything. But it's like, I don't know. Do I want her fighting Doctor Doom in the CGI room? I don't know. Like, of course, I want great actors in those. But sometimes there's some people that could be used better. I don't know. It's tough, but it's going to be interesting. And also Abrams, he's great. So I'm excited. I think he's a good lead. I think that's a good step for him, and I want him to be in more stuff, and I'm excited to see him in stuff. So
totally.
Next one, Glen Powell potentially producing and potentially starring in a Texas Chainsaw movie directed by the Strange Darling director. I fucked up because I didn't even get the director's name here. I think it's, I can say it's a weird one, but go ahead.
This is a rumor, not a...
It's I forgot the sourcing. The source, it's a rumor, but I think the sourcing was a tier one. It's directed by JT Molnar. That's why I didn't get that. But let me see.
Yeah, I'm not like a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I think I've seen the first movie, but like that would have been a long time ago.
It's A-tier stuff. It's A-tier report there, yeah. So I guess the rights are up for grabs currently. So that's what's happening right now, where it sounds like him and JT saw that movie and was just like, let's potentially do this, right? Because they could not get it, but that's I think with that report out, they might be the front runners or whatnot. But that sounds like the idea. Plus, I could even see that's how you like kind of get the rights. Is Glen Powell's like, well, and I could I might actually be in the movie as well. Like, oh yeah, let's do it. And then when it comes around, it's like, I'm not doing fucking Chainsaw, but I'll produce it. But
yeah. I think you'd be a great victim, you know, in a like you think he's like the big, you know, like main lead, and then he just gets fucking just chained up.
You do the Scream thing where you kill off the big actor in the first act. Yeah, that could work.
That could be fun. And I don't think I've seen him die on screen, so that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I guess you didn't watch Scream Queens. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Yeah, Scream Queens is still on my list. I'm trying to convince Shay to watch it with me.
Oh, you should. It's a good, even if she doesn't like horror, it's like very parody. It's like, it's not scary movie levels, but it's like a baby version of that. It's a good time. But yeah, go on.
But just the idea of what this is, like I'm not a big fan of the series, but we're also just living off an era where we've had some really fantastic reboots, like the what was it, the 2013 Evil Dead? Was it 2013?
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, and then
you can even say that for Rise, kind of too. Like it's not a reboot, but it kind of is, right? Like it's like 10 years later.
Alien Romulus had like isms of just like a reboot. So like and then what we just talked about with the Resident Evil thing, like I very
too,
optimistic,
like Prey.
and there's Prey, yeah, absolutely, and like there's been reasons to be hopeful and optimistic. So I really like this idea. Maybe it's gonna just be a really good jump into just the series for me. And I like Glen Powell, and he's a big Texas boy, so it would fit to get massacred in his home state.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. It's like when you brought up those other franchises, I think the reason this is happening because we're growing up in an age where these new filmmakers grew up loving this stuff, right? Where when we did the Alien retro, when it's Alien 2 and 3, like of course you're making a sequel to like a big movie, but like I guess it's tough, right? But like even let's say Christopher Nolan directed Inception and then they announced they're doing Inception 2. We would still consider that a big deal, right? But Aliens decades later looked at it as like, oh, now that we've had some time, this is arguably the greatest sci-fi movie of all time, right? Or sci-fi horror, whatever. Or even in that time when it comes out, you might think that, but it's not, it doesn't have that history. So I feel like at that time when they're making the sequels, it's just like, let's get them out, let's make some money, let's go off the momentum of these franchises, where these new directors grew up with this kind of in a special place in their heart, where they grew up with the, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, and this should be an Alien movie, this should be an Evil Dead movie, like this is what you have to do. Where like at the time, like James Cameron probably wasn't thinking that when he made Aliens. He was just like, okay, how do I make a sequel to Alien? Like he's not worrying about like, oh, I got to be precious with the lore of Alien. He's just like, well, they got a hit and they want me to make a sequel. Let's do this. Where now we got, I think, a lot more care with these franchises. And to me, there's something for, and I like Texas Chainsaw a lot. It's not like one of my all-time favorite franchises. There's even a couple last year I was rewatching, and I don't think I even finished my rewatch because like some of them get so bad in the middle.
How many is there?
Oh God, I think there's like 6 to 7. Oh,
my
actually, there
gosh.
could be more because there's something where it's like I could be wrong, but I think there's like 3 to 4 originals, and then in 2003 they rebooted it. Which 2003 they remade it. It's actually really good. Jessica Biel's in it. It's like
Jessica Biel. Okay, I've seen that one. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, because it has that great opening where it's like, and you see like the photo of Leatherface, and they make it seem like it's a real story. And then I think after that they like rebooted it twice over. Like me and Taylor a couple years ago reviewed, like Netflix did one. It was awful. It was truly, it was like bottom tier.
Seeing it on your letterbox.
Yeah, like it was bad. So for me, like this is right for the taking. I think this is another thing where Glen Powell kind of hinted he doesn't want to do the superhero thing. So it's like, well, what other franchises could I do? And kind of like revitalizing Texas Chainsaw, that'd be big. And I agree with you. Like he could be the lead of it. He could be the sexy coaster that gets killed right away. That's a shock. Fuck, maybe he wants to play Leatherface. I don't know. I don't think you do that, but maybe it's like he wants
Handsome
to
Leatherface.
Well, maybe that's it. Like maybe that's the challenge where he wants to fuck himself up with the like everything. Like I would love it too. I don't think they could ever pull this off in this day where if they got this and he was producing and he's like, oh, I'm actually not in it, but he is playing Leatherface, but they never tell us until like closer to the movie, kind of like, or they even play like Bill Skarsgård where you don't really see them like him for a while, like I don't think he would do that, but I would love Glen Powell to be Leatherface.
He's crawling down the tunnel.
Why not? Like that'd be fun. That'd be something. And and maybe he doesn't have to be in all. Get the stunt double to do a lot of it, but I don't think that would be the case. I think if Glen Powell's in it, and that's what I was trying to say with the franchise. From what I've seen with the franchise, though, the guy who did Strange Darling to me is like. That's a perfect fit. Like when I think about the Strange Darling and just some of those characters, some of like the small town feel and Texas Chainsaw has, I'm like, yeah, that's like a match made in heaven right there. I don't know if he would even do something where would he play with it chronologically? Like I'd love it if like same thing where he did something to revitalize that franchise. So I really hope this happens and I think I don't know if Kirkland would be. Maybe Taylor would be, but I'd be down to do a retro for that.
I'd be
Go
down.
through yeah,
I would
'cause
definitely be down. Yeah.
there's some good ones. There's some bad ones there. So yeah, we should do
Recipe for a good retro.
Oh yeah, that's what you want there. So let's see. Next here, Linda Cardellini will officially stars Pamela Voorhees in A24's Friday the 13th series. So they're making that. I'm not sure how many Friday the 13th you've seen. I'm not sure if you have any interest in the show. I will great casting. Love Linda. I think that's a fun pairing. I think she can play Jason's psycho mother. A24 is getting into more TV stuff, so I'm curious. I am curious how this whole show's going to work because the original showrunner of this was the guy that did Hannibal, but then they had creative differences, so he bounced. So I will check this out. But this one, even though it's A24, it's like a very 50-50 on how this is going to go down. Like it's going to be one of them very curious to see how they pull it off, but I'm down to check it out when it comes by. But you got any interest in this or no?
I mean, just that whole phrase, that you just listed, Linda Cardellini.
Will officially stars Pamela Voorhees in the A24.
I think that's
Friday
all
13th
great. I think it all
series.
sounds really good, but for me, I think it'll be really based around word of mouth, closer to. There's just so much content to digest. You got to be picky and choosy with some things. And I've seen a couple of the Friday the 13th. I've seen the first one like the most. Like that's the one I remember pretty well. Rewatched it a couple years ago, and I really just love that movie. But beyond that, like I haven't seen the crazy ones. I think I've seen when he goes to New York, but maybe just
Jason
scenes
Takes
here and there.
Manhattan. Yeah. And most of the movies
I love
actually
that
just
that's
him on
the
a and he's only in New York for about 10 minutes. The movie all takes place on a boat to New York.
Does he fight some like street guy in it, like some just street criminal, like tries to fight him or something, or rob
Are you
him?
talking about when he like punches a guy head off?
That's probably it.
So no, he's a student on the boat who's a boxer. And then
Okay, yes, the fighter guy, yeah.
And they're on they're on top of a building, and then for some reason he's boxing Jason, and Jason is taking damage by his box. Like, and this is undead Jason too, so he's been come back. He's a zombie, and like he's fighting him. And then Jason just rounds up, punches him, and then his head goes flying into a garbage pail. And they put that animation kill in the video game. So
Yes. That's
that
probably
kills
where
the
it's
and
coming
punches the
from.
guy's head off. Yeah, it's quite good. But yeah, no, most of the movie takes place on a boat because he has it. Here we go. Give us some sound there. Give us some sound here. This is it. There you go.
You hear that?
Yeah, there we go. So this is Julius
Watch the whole
versus
thing,
Jason.
or is it-
Absolutely. Absolutely, we're watching
Just
the whole thing.
dripping wet.
So this is a boxer in high school, college is fighting, and look, he's throwing haymakers, and Jason's moving like he's reacting like it hurts. I think he should not punch him in the mask though. Like that's
like literal protective equipment is what he's punching right now.
yes, that is
Bare
gonna break
knuckle.
your fist and knuckles. But look, he
is
got some
body
of the
shot.
ropes here. And look, Jason's almost at the edge. Actually, no. This is a long scene. This is like Tom Cruise running Mission Impossible.
It's the strategy, though. He's gassing him out.
He is. But you got to give it to Julius because Jason is taking a lot of damage here. Oh, but Julius
Caught
is,
him on the back foot.
it's just like comedically long. For folks that are just listening to audio, Julius has just been punching Jason the whole time. Jason's been walking backwards on a building. But he's finally
Full
tired
minute.
here.
Full
Yeah,
minute
we're at
now.
a minute 11 right now. It's still going. It's still going. It's not
this is too long.
At that point, you just run away. You just stop boxing. Like
Yeah.
he's clearly not going down. Maybe start.
Bloody
Look, okay,
knuckles.
I like that look though. His knuckles are bloodied, so
Ooh.
he should have dropped his knees and punched him in the nuts, though. Really, to be honest.
At
But,
least try it,
Yeah.
If you do all that and no reaction.
Yeah. Julius is tired out. He's got nothing. Oh, and he asked for his best shot.
Motherfucker.
Oh, motherfucker! And then here he goes.
Yeah.
Jason's gonna wind up,
Oh,
and his hand is gone. Oh, we got a POV of the head. Fine, that's good. And right into the garbage tail.
in the tra-
Jason wins that round. World champ.
Like this.
Uh,
Oh, that was good. That was
Yeah.
worth the 2 minutes.
That was he was selling for him. It is I can do this all day pretty much. Yeah, but no, the reason that movie took place mostly on a boat is when they wrote the script, they had all these set pieces. They wanted them to fight on the Empire State Building, but then it all cost too much, and they're like they slashed their budget, so like, okay, we're just gonna put it on a boat. So yeah,
It's great.
yeah. And then last two notes is here, nothing for Kirkland, but Saw 11. Last week, Dylan Taylor talked about how it was canceled. The producers, aka Billy the Puppet, had put out a statement saying the game is never over. So I don't know if that means because they reported as it's just taken off the schedule. So I don't know if that means they're still trying to figure out if they're going to start over. Who knows? But it sounds like that's what's going down. But then in the place of this, they also announced that Strangers 2 is coming out in September, which is very odd. Because remember when we talked about Strangers, the chapter 1, the plan for that was one in the summer, one in the fall, and then one January of this year. And then we got that first chapter 1, and we never heard like dick all about chapter 2 for like a long time. But I guess we're getting chapter 2 in September, so you got that going on. So I hope Saw 11 is happening. I like the formula of Saw 10. As I've said this before, people are right. If it's over, Tobin Bell gets to go on a high note. But you know, Tobin Bell's older guy. I'd like to see more Jigsaw if he's down to do it. But I don't want him just to rush it out. So if there is problems, great, hang on. But I do think it's something where it's like the last movie made like 100 million. Those movies always cost like 20 and 30 million. It's like you're kind of like I don't know, a dumb studio if you can't figure that one out. Like you just keep going on the gravy train. And Strangers, I don't know, I've kind of forgotten about it. Like I kind of wish they did that fast release schedule. I think we will still see them review them because we're locked in. But yeah, I don't have much excitement for that. But I'll be there in September, and hopefully we have a fun time talking about that. So
Hopefully.
yeah. And the last note, had to put this in here. Miguel Prado is coming back to Dexter. I'm very excited, man. Everybody, Harrison, Harry, the Trinity Killer, now Miguel Prado. And even then, they got Uma Thurman here. They got Peter Dinklage. They got Kristen Ritter. There's a couple other people, too. Like, it is a stacked cast. And I'm very excited. I was on the episode where in Original Sin where Miguel Prado had a little cameo. But next to Trinity, okay, I guess, sorry, Ice Truck Killer. But next to those two, I fucking love Miguel Prado. I have such a soft spot. I love Jimmy Smits. So I'm really hoping they get Biney back. I would like him. You know, he's featured heavily in Original Sin. That might not be the greatest version of that character. So I'd love Christian Camargo to come back and be his real self. And yeah, obviously they're not back like alive, but Trinity always made sense of like, okay, you got the Harrison connection. It's Dexter's biggest, foe. He even had an appearance in New Blood. Fine. But Miguel was a very big surprise to me. So to me, I don't know if this is like I've pitched this, and I see Mike in the chat. I've pitched this like, is there like a what if episode? Is there like while he's in a coma in the hospital recovering from a gunshot to the heart, if he's like having dreams about these people? Oh, excuse me. If they're like consistently throughout the show haunting him, I don't know. But this gets me very excited that we're getting multiple characters from the past here. And Mike says bring back Lumen. I'm ready to ban him from this chat in just a second because Lumen is an awful character. But you excited to see Miguel fucking Prado back? Jimmy Smits.
I really got to rewatch this show because I like remember him from like the clips or like screenshots that you've shared or I've just seen, and I just don't remember much about that character beyond that.
Oh God!
I'm like more excited about the other names that you listed. I just didn't really realize they had the big heavy hitters. Like those are big names on there.
Yeah.
We got the Peter Dinklage and Kristen Ritter and some other ones you said that I'm already forgetting. But yeah, no, I more than anything, it just makes me want to rewatch the show because I'm loving that the Dexter universe is just ever going. Like it didn't just. Like I never even finished that last season of Dexter. I couldn't quite do it. But beyond that, I've been enjoying what we've been getting. So yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
If on YouTube you want to quickly catch up, Showtime 8 months ago put out a 28-minute video that it shows the whole history of Dexter and Miguel Prado. So there you go. You got that going on. It's funny though, they did 8 months ago. They put Dexter versus Miguel Prado and they put the eye emojis So it's wonder if how long this has been cooking, So but I can't wait for that episode. I'm very excited. So let's take our last ad break, and then we're going to talk about some trailers, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Let me just make sure I didn't miss. We have a Patreon question about the trailers. Of course, Maddie's got to hit us with the classic, rate the trailers. No, okay, that's all there. But yeah, so we have. We got the Alien Earth special look teaser trailer. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's special look. We got the Ritual. We got Final Destination Bloodlines. We got Clown in the Cornfield, and we got one battle after another. Where do you want to start, Mr. Patzer?
I'm going to start hot and heavy with Viva la Revolution with one battle after another.
Thank you, Sensei.
Man,
Thank you, Sensei.
This trailer, I had not heard about this project at all before I was turned on this trailer. And
yeah, you have.
Right. Okay. There you go.
We talked about it on the 2025 preview. It had a different.
Okay.
Remember, it was
Yes.
like the battle at Battle Rock or Baton
Yeah,
Rock.
it had a
that
terrible name. Yeah.
terrible title. Like, not that this title is like the greatest. Like, it's very generic. Like one battle after another. Like very sounds like a Call of Duty mission. But this is 1,000 times better than like whatever that terrible title was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So nevertheless, it was a surprise when I threw it on, and instantly it just gave me Bullet Train vibes. Like just having Leo in this somewhat similar of a role of like Brad Pitt, of just like a goofy protagonist that's like kind of on like a like a top secret mission or whatever the hell is going on. But as the trailer went on, I was just smiling. It just seems like it's going to be like a really fun adventure, and I feel like I was like getting sold by the trailer. But then, man, the second I saw Benicio del Toro on here, I was just like, "Oh my god, they have my." I'm in there day one. Like I love me some Benicio. Sicario is one of my favorite movies of all time. Just recently rewatched it again. I love Benicio del Toro. He's such a fantastic actor, and I just don't get enough of him. So I'm excited to have him in this role. And just from what I got in the trailer, I'm just. Thinking about his character in Sicario, he's just such like a intense killer of a character.
Scary.
He just seems like so goofy in scenes, but I feel like there's stages of the trailer that makes me think this is actually going to be like more of a serious movie, but hopefully with a good level of just balancing the humor and everything else that's going on. Because Leo just looks super goofy. I love just the passwords sequence when it's like time. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Like I don't remember that.
If you cared about your daughter, you would have remembered the time.
Yeah,
you fucking kidding me? You kidding me?
That humor was getting me good. And then at the end, when he's just like, "Thank you, Sensei," and then he goes down. He's
Thank
like,
you, Sensei.
and he's just getting like the Leo like fired up, like how he gets in Wolf of Wall Street when he's just like so intense. Viva la Revolution! And then you just have like Benicio go down the ladder and the little carpet comes out. Like, yeah, this whole trailer has made me smile, and I cannot wait for this. September, it's a long ways away, but yeah, I'm excited for it.
Well, good. If you see day one, I'll see day one. We'll review it because I'm so excited. Paul Thomas Anderson, one of the greatest directors of our time. It's funny, we were just talking about him last night because we were talking about Mission Impossible 3, and I said like The Master. That's like a great Philip Seymour Hoffman movie with him and Joaquin Phoenix. It's a movie very heavy on religion and how bad things can happen to it. And he directed this. He directed There Will Be Blood, Punch Drunk Love. He directed Phantom Thread, Boogie Nights. Like
Nights.
Yeah, he's one of the like in our generation. He's a top tenner. He's fantastic. I don't love everything he's done. Like Inherent Vice, I was not the biggest fan of. Same thing with Licorice Pizza. I need to kind of give that another rewatch. I think I'm going to rewatch a lot of his movies because I haven't seen some of them in ages. But like There Will Be Blood is like, to me, that's one of those movies that it came out the same year as No Country for Old Men. I like No Country for Old Men better, but I always understood why people liked it more or like would have had this number one. I've always understood why people would say like, oh, that's like Godfather level. Like that movie is fucking phenomenal. And this looks very different than anything he's ever done as far as like he's never directed anything with like massive action set pieces. I'm not saying this is going to be like John Wick, but there's definitely going to be some set pieces in here that are grander than usual. And it's like I think it's the biggest budget he's ever had as well. So, and I wasn't sure. Lots of these people I love in here. I agree with everybody, not only feeling, but look wise when they say Leo's entering his Jack Nicholson era. 100% in this movie. It felt like, especially this moment where he gets out the window and his hair is blowing back and he has the beard. It's like, oh my God, he does look like Jack Nicholson. And Jack was always great at that, like Jack Nicholson can be the most dramatic actor and then the most comedic actor in a second. And Leo can do that. Like we've seen him do that, right? Like look at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like many roles, right? But that's just the most recent where very comedic role, but there's times where he's a sad, depressing character and you feel it. So this movie, and man, I've said it before, Sean Penn was one of my first like acting loves where I just like, oh, who's this actor? I got to consume everything. I was excited based on the movie just by, because I think when we did our rankings, our 2025 rankings, this was my 5th movie. I was just excited based on resume, right? Of, okay, love the director's work. The cast was phenomenal. Great. This trailer, like even tripled the excitement I had for it. I wasn't even expecting it to have this type of humor beats to it, but it just looks like it knows exactly what it was. Even the little stuff like when Benicio del Toro slams the thing shut and the carpet rolls, it's like, oh, just like little style touches like that. It's okay. It's looking like it's gonna be a great time. So this is still in my top 5 for the year, but the excitement is up now, and I can't wait to see. I can't wait to just see this start to finish. I think it's going to be a really good time. So I'm excited for that. I suppose because we're talking about trailers, brings up about the Superman 5-minute preview. I don't know what's happening there, but there is a new rumor that we're getting a Superman trailer next week. So, and it's supposed to be on the Tuesday. So if that happens, 1, I won't be seeing Minecraft, and 2, you'll probably get a mini episode from me and Kirkland because I don't think Dylan has any interest in Superman. So we'll do that after Daredevil. But Superman. But yeah, where are we going next, Kirkland?
Okay, let's go. I don't know. Alien special look, I guess. I wasn't a big fan of the previous one where it was kind of from like the dog's point of view. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like something I didn't need to watch, and this was definitely more of, I think, what I was looking for. I really like the aesthetics we got in here. I love it anytime we see that old future tech, whatever you want to call it, you know, just with like the classic, like when he's in like the mother room. I love seeing that, and there's just the unsettling like tone of what this trailer has. Like, yeah, this is Alien, definitely.
Got another AI being a fucking asshole, you know, android or whatever they're called in the alien world, you know.
We've definitely talked about it before, but I really did not register that this is a series and not like a movie. So until like this trailer, so that was a big surprise to me, and I think it lowers my hype overall. I'm definitely still wanting to check it out, but yeah, just it was a little bit of a surprise there for myself.
Yeah, to me, it's funny, like what I just talked about, like one battle after another, where it's like, okay, I'm in based on resume. That's still where I am here, where I love Noah Hawley. I loved Legion. So it's like, okay, I'm in. I know the type of TV shows. I'm curious when we get there, because it's one of the things where Legion, I've never watched Fargo, but Legion is like it can be a slow pace, but it's one of these things like it pays off when you get to the end of the season or whatnot. It's like it has some big moments, but it has some very slow pacing, and I could see this being that. But I think I'm kind of over these like minute 45 seconds. Like I'm waiting. I think I need the full trailer on this one to really gauge where my real excitement is for this. Other than just, hey, I like Noah Hawley. I love the Alien franchise, or like I love Noah Hawley's work. Love the Alien franchise. Sounds like a good mix. Let's see what happens, right? For me, none of these things have got me any more excited. I guess this gave us a little more where, okay, there's something clearly bad on the ship. I'm guessing it's an android because they're always up to no fucking good. He's the one going like Earth destination, whatever. So like, okay, we kind of see how that can get to and from. There's still some like canon lore questions I'm curious about, like timeline stuff, but I've not seen anything that's got me uberly excited for the show yet based on previews. So I'm waiting for, I don't know if it's Comic-Con or what else, but, and yeah, Mike's right that Legion did a very cryptic marketing, so it's all up in Noah Hawley's bandwagon. So that's why it's like I'm still trusting the process. I'm excited for it, but I'm still not like juicing yet. I want that trailer where I go, okay, I'm fully in, and maybe we're not going to get that. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they want to try and keep it as secretive as possible. But then you have to kind of look at on a business side. It's like, is that a good idea? Like, that's great for us as a viewer, unless maybe this is just a one season and they don't care, right? If this is just meant to be a mini series where, hey, we're doing an 8-episode show that's front to back, like they already made their money and they're just going to put out a good show and they'll be for the ride. But if you want to actually have this be a hit, I don't know, you might want to show some stuff off. I don't know. I'm very curious even how like if you were to tell me what do you think would work better, a Predator TV show or an Alien TV show, I'd say the Predator TV show would probably work better. Alien TV show, I think it's a lot more trickier of a nut to crack. So, and I still like from these shows or the teaser so far, I still think that. So I don't know, but that's gonna be a fun review series when we get to do that, because I think there's gonna be a lot of good mystery box stuff. So we'll see what's going on there. What do you think of The Ritual? Al Pacino, an exorcism movie.
Yeah. This was, I guess, to spoil my thoughts, this was the most interesting out of the horror trailers that we got here for me. I don't know. I don't like seek out exorcism movies. It's never been like my favorite genre. I've seen I'll say a handful of them. The original Exorcist, Exorcism of Emily Rose. Remember that one?
Deb.
Yeah. And then maybe like I want to say a remake, but like I don't know how many remakes.
Scary
they
Movie
did.
2.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Scary Movie 2.
Fuck me. Father.
So the priest.
Christ. Yeah.
Doing the tongue action. That might be my favorite exorcism project. But
top tier exorcism movie.
Yeah, I don't know. This one just had, I don't know, exorcism elements. It looked scary. It looked just raw and authentic. Who's the chap in here that's not
Dan Stevens?
Dan Stevens.
Love
yeah.
Dan Stevens. Yeah.
I keep like seeing him, and I'm like, oh, where do I know this guy from? And then I look at the IMDb, and I'm like, not much, but like I feel like I've seen him in more things, or maybe it just that's my mind playing tricks on me because I want to see more things with him. But I like just what I saw in this quick little glimpse of the trailer.
You saw Cuckoo, right? Did you ever get around to see Cuckoo? Yeah.
He was like the doctor guy.
Yeah,
right?
he's great in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he's the main guy of Legion. He's Xavier's son in Legion. He's the main
Oh,
star.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another movie I'm not sure if you've seen. Have you seen The Guest with him?
The Guest is
That's really good. That's the one that stars
who's also in that one.
Maria Monaco or whatever, the girl from Long Legs, and what's the sex movie? They Follow or It Follows.
It Follows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have seen that one actually.
And it's like
pull it up.
he shows up on their doorstep and he's like, "Oh, I'm your brother's friend from war." And that's how they give him a place to stay, but there's something a little bit off with them, and you don't know what's true and what's not. It's a really good, like, lower budget indie horror movie. Dan Stevens is great there. I did not watch the latest Godzilla Kong movie. I know he's in that, but I will not be. I've given up on that franchise. So
I have not seen this actually. No.
okay,
I
it's
don't
worth a
like
watch
this.
one time.
Yeah.
If you ever see it, I think you and your dad would like it too. It's a good.
Nice.
I don't think it never gets like super weird, but just like a good solid like horror thriller movie. So
Cool. I like Micah as well.
Yeah.
And everything I've seen her in.
Micah, I don't know why I always forget her fucking name. I always like it's 10 different names to me, but I will watch this. Al Pacino, one of the greatest of all time. I love Dan Stevens. I think this trailer looked like maybe it could be a hidden gem. Also could look like it'd be like a solid 2 out of 5 movie where that was fine. I don't know what to give. I guess I should look. Hang on, maybe this will be a design factor. Who directed this? If it's anybody, and that's nothing bad, right? If it's like a new timer, oh, maybe this is their start. But if it's someone, David Middell, oh, he's got mid in his last name, so that's not a good start there. But let's see. So he's directed 3 things previously: The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain, Night Lights, and By Any Other Name. So nothing I've heard. So okay, independent director. So maybe this will be his big break. He's working with Pacino, so that could be a big thing for him. He's won some, independent awards and film festivals. 19 wins. So there you go. We like the laurels. We get that's going on. So yeah, I'll check this out. Unless people say this is like the bee's knees. This is a home VOD watch for me. Or Netflix. Like I don't need to watch it there. Dan Stevens amazing at Abigail. Yeah, he was amazing at Abigail. I didn't really enjoy that movie like a lot of other people, but he was very funny in that. So, but I will see this just because of those two. So not a fan of Clown the Cornfield, huh, Kirkland?
I feel like there's. I mean, it's just a movie that I've seen before. It seems like just a different. Different setting, like even the killer clown thing, like it's nothing new. This one though, like I feel like there is some charming moments in it but like at the end of the day, it's gonna be like I'm really gonna need word of mouth for this one. Like this one could really be where everyone's like, oh yeah, no, you should definitely watch it. Like there's just the characters like are really great in it or whatever. whether there's fun kills or just funny things going on. It could definitely potentially be that, but it could also potentially just be a very forgettable film. So I'm very much gonna wait to hear the buzz about it. But because there's things I liked in it, like I don't know, there's I think some fun. There's gonna be some fun kills, I would imagine, and just some creative. I like just as like a looking at it as like a filmmaker, like I just feel like, man, what a fun place to like shoot a film in, just like that type of a just setting. So there's things I like about it, but nothing too I don't know, winning me over like some sprinkles or anything like that on it.
Did you see the first teaser of this movie?
No.
They had this great gag where, and I can't remember because I watched this trailer like when it came out like 6 days ago. I can't remember if it's in both of them, but there's a moment where they're hiding in the cornfield, like the victims, and they're all like quiet and they're hunkered down, everything like that. And it's like the three friends, and one friend starts to breathe heavily, so they put their hand over their mouth, and then they all do that because they're all getting like worked up. And then the last friend, like a hand goes over their mouth, and it's the fucking clown like right behind them, like playing with them. People know this about me. I'm a huge Freddy Krueger guy, so I love villains that have that kind of a dash of comedy built in there because it's just like fun fucking with them. And that's something huge where Art the Clown is that. I know you're never going to watch those Terrifier movies because if you think Saw is bad, Terrifier is 10 times worse, 100 times worse. But Art the Clown is a very, very dark comedic character. And I think that's something that's been missing and I'd love to do, maybe we should do this on October for Halloween, like a bread and butter of like, that was a conversation when Art, when Terrifier blew up and this last one almost made 100 million. The budgets are so cheap. Like, he's become a horror icon, right? You walk in the Hot Topic or Spirit Halloween, Art the Clown's all over the place. But it's like, there's not, like, in the past decade, how many new horror icons do you have? Like, when we talk about them, it's Jason, Freddy, Hellraiser, Leprechaun, Ghostface. Like, it's all characters from the late 80s or 90s, right? Like, this is, like, and that's why it's not even to be biased. Like, I think the last time that maybe happened was with like Billy the Puppet from Saw, right? Like that mask, like him, like, okay, you could see what that was, but that's not a thing anymore. And I think that's some of the problem is that people have these great character or like these great looks, but they don't give them anything like distinguishable. Like that's why, like I'm not saying Kirkland's never going to be in this level, but that's why when we did Adrenochrome, I'm like, and spoilers for people who haven't seen it, but I'm like, you're going to have this weird voice. Cause like I want things that are not just the look. And that's where it's like, Kirkland's character is not comedic at all. I didn't go that route, but like that's where I feel like, okay, you got like Kirkland said, you have the classic clown. We've seen a killer clown before, but you got to give it something maybe to stand out. And that's where I'm kind of like, I'm rooting for this movie. I'm hoping it's going to be something like Terrifier, where we could get Corn the Clownfield, or Clown in the Cornfield, not the other way around. There's not a Clownfield out there. Clown in the Cornfield, that's a sequel. Just oh my God, we're in a field all of clowns. But like, this is an independent horror movie, and I'm rooting for it. And I might go see it because what it reminds me of is, and I don't think we 1 year have to do it, the Halloween mazes we get here in Kelowna. It reminds me of that, where this could be just like a fun, like, B-rate 7 out of 10. This is a good time horror slasher, right? And I feel like sometimes there's not enough of those. So, yeah, I'm kind of rooting for it, but I also think it could be disappointing. Like there's a movie last year that I did not love as much of anybody. It was an indie horror movie. I can't remember what it was. It's like a movie where it's on Halloween night. They do like these hunts, and of course, like something's like it's like a pumpkin killer. I don't know. It had everything like this, where it's all my alley. And then when I saw the movie, I was like, meh, this did really nothing for me. And that's what this movie always could be that. But I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it's something a little bit more. So yeah. We'll see. What do we got left here? And that's the thing. Yeah. From the director of Tucker Dale versus Evil, which is have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very smart, well done, like horror comedy movie. So I got some faith there that could be this. So, and then finally we reach our final destination. Didn't even mean to do that, but with the Bloodlines trailer, I think it's probably the last one because I think it's coming out in May. So we're just around the corner here. Second most watched horror trailer of all time, Kirkland, which is
wow,
kind of crazy to think about. Like I don't think that's going to mean it's going to be the second biggest horror movie of all time, but still, like it shows that some people are curious about this. It's just like, are they curious enough to go spend some money? Are you curious enough, Kirkland, to go spend some money at theaters?
No, I'm not going to be seeking this one out. I will say though, I did like this trailer. I think it was well done. I think just the whole setup of like all the dominoes falling into place to get like a creative kill, whatever you're calling it. I thought it was good. I like just like the crazy old lady with just her wild hair and just like her like she's seen death eyes. Just yeah, she seemed like a interesting kooky character. I've seen I want to say bits and pieces of at least 2 Final Destination movies. Maybe that, combines to make one full movie. Because I was always like just intrigued, I guess, about how they were gonna go about. It's almost like a game of mousetrap, but like
Yes.
at the end, it's a death, and it's usually pretty gross and gruesome. So I feel like I was always intrigued, and then when it got to that part, I would just like. On cable, you just hit like last whatever. You go like the last channel that you're on, so you can just switch back. I remember doing that
Not
many
A/B
times. So not A/B repeat for Final Destination. That was saved for other projects. But I feel like I have that, and that's also just like the dark shadow of me with the Saw genre. Famously, Matty Sag says like he's in it for the story, not for the kills, and like that would definitely be me. I imagine eventually I'll get in there. It's dead series now apparently, so there's no rush.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, I feel like I've said this before, but I'm the same way you are with Saw with this franchise, where I've never had, because at least you say like Maddie says that to you, right? And then we've said that to you before. We're like, oh, that's why we watch it, because there's this huge story and all these plot twists and characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's very convoluted, but if you watch the whole series, it's great and it's a whole bunch of fun, right? Where I've never heard people say that about the Final Destination series, and that's not a knock on it. I'm not saying that's like oh, this is the like Saw's better. I'm not saying that. It's just that I feel like people. I know of some twists that happen in these series, but I feel like people watch it for these fun situations, and that's great. I feel like if you like Final Destination, to me, this at least looks like one of the better ones. Like I feel like if I've seen previews of them all, I feel like it's like most horror franchises where you got a couple cheap, poorly made ones in there that people are like, oh, that's not a good one. Where this looks like I can't say return to form, because I'm thinking like you, where I think I saw the first one a long time ago, and then I've seen bits and pieces of some throughout where it's on TV or something like that. But this looks like a better one. I loved the party setup of everything kind of going wrong and you're seeing things happen, but it's always feels like that's a fun like short film to me. Like I never feel a need like I got to see all hour and a half and 2 hours of it.
Yeah.
I guess I appreciate they're trying to do some story where this family tree for some reason was supposed to, like, these people weren't supposed to be alive, so that's why death's coming after them. So it's like, okay, that makes sense. But I've said this before, I just have no interest in a villain that's like just like the air, like it's just like a greater power, right? I don't know if that's like something because I'm not religious.
How are they going to win in this movie?
Yeah, like what is the result at the end, right? Where it's like even in Nightmare on Elm Street where that happens, like, well, it's always Freddy pulling the strings. It's like, okay, you got to get to Freddy, and that's the result. I'm sure they answer these in these movies, but that threat has just never interested me. I'm somebody where, like, minor spoilers, where I talk about Mission Impossible 3 Retro. It's like the reason I love that movie is because I love a great villain. That's Philip Seymour Hoffman, right? I like having that other side of the coin when it's just a huge entity. Maybe because I'm not a super religious person, that's just doesn't really do it for me. But I think this trailer was well made and well put together. And I think if you like this franchise, it's looking good. It's not a situation where I don't like this franchise and I've seen this trailer, I'm like, fuck, man, this looks like the shitter, you know? Like, I think, and again, like, what I appreciate, and I feel like the fans should be excited for it. I don't know if we've talked about this, but when the directors, this was during COVID, and they were taking pitch meetings or anything like that to produce this movie, on the Zoom call, they like pretended to fake their own deaths, they're like pitching what the movie would be about, and then they like got killed in asterisks during the Zoom calls, and the producers just loved that, so they gave them that because they thought that was just so creative. I'm like, that clearly, again, when we talk about these franchises earlier of people that love them growing up, that to me sounds like fans of the franchise where it's like, oh, let's like fake our deaths on the Zoom call in a really funny way. And I hope if there's a Blu-ray or special features, if they haven't released that comes out there, because that's cool. So that's where it's like, I think for fans of this, you're looking like aces. And I actually do think it's going to do well, because like, when was the last one? I think it's been a minute, right?
Feels like it's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, where I feel like there was a time where it was like Saw, where they were just like pumping them out. Like
I remember getting those trailers on DVD.
And on DVDs, be like, okay, I'm going to skip. Holy shit. 2011? I didn't think it was that long. I thought it was like, I was thinking to 10 years.
Do you
That's
see like the gaps between like the movies? Like
So,
it seems like it
it's-
was rapid fire.
2000, 03, 06, 09, 11. So it was 5 movies all within 3 years of each other. So
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. So like, and you know, not as bad as Saw. Saw had like an 8-year run of one a year. And I get why people got sick of
Wow.
those because every Halloween, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw. But that's crazy. 14 years since the last one. I would not have thought that. So I think this is going to do well.
Death's
I
been
think,
brewing.
yeah, and I feel like this can reach a new generation too of people, like the younger generation that like to do reaction videos or like that shock type stuff for reels. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this is primed to be a hit, and I feel like this one of those movies comes out, does well, and that same weekend they're like, we're making the next one, like it's gonna get green light right away, because I don't think it's gonna be an expensive movie. And Superman Mike's right, it's Tony Todd's last movie as well too, so hopefully he gets some good screen time. I think he's in 5 of them, or 4 of them at least. I think he's like the human form of death or something like that. I don't know. I've never watched them fully all the way through, but yeah.
My prediction is the end of the movie. It's going to be like your main protagonist, like maybe them and like one other character survives, and then it's just like alludes that death's like actually coming to get them. They think that they're safe, but not
Of
really.
course.
And then it fades to credits.
Yeah.
You get the the famous Transformers roll to credits. That song. Linkin
Some Linkin Park in there.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I guess it doesn't suck for them. I think it sucks for Clown the Cornfield, because that comes out in May. So in May you got Thunderbolts, May 2nd. Then May 9th is Clown the Cornfield, and then May 16th Final Destination. So I feel like those can have like similar audiences, and I just feel like if people are gonna pick one, I feel like Destination is gonna get people's tickets. I feel like it just looks like a bigger budget. People know the franchise. But then the week after that, like Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Karate Kid. So May's pretty stacked, but that's where it's like there's not much horror out. So
Yeah.
I feel bad for the clown movie, because I feel like coming a week before Final Destination kind of cuts I can see a lot of people being like, oh, I'll wait for, like, I'll see that. Like, that's tough, right? But we'll see. So anything else, Taylor? You're not here?
I'm not
So
here.
Kirkland, I'm going to throw to you.
Taylor's been here the whole time. What are you
Yeah,
talking
he
about?
has been. He's not on
No.
vacation. He's gone.
Nothing else for me.
Yep. There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back. Kirkland will be back for side quests next time. Hear from them. I'll be back
Perk
for
Boys.
Daredevil. Yeah, the Perk
Closing out our
Boys will be
first
back.
episode.
For what? Oh, of this. Yeah, I thought you meant
It's our
side quests.
first
I'm like,
official
what?
new.
It is. Yes. Yeah. You scared me that I was hosting
Official
side
new
quests. I'm like, I don't have that on the calendar at all. I'm not on side quest.
You're hosting
I'm coming up
trivia.
next
Are
week.
you ready? There's like 6 people coming.
He's gonna hit me with the Pokemon. Like, name all the 3 I'm like, I can't. Like, I can name like, the first batch. It's like Pikachu, Charizard, Ivysaur. I could get up to probably double digits. I think if I
Yeah,
were to do
I
that.
think
Is
you
is Mewtwo considered in that first 200, or is that something? Is
I
he
think
a
so.
second batch?
I think so. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
But also the cheat is like, that's because of Smash. Like, Smash is half the reason
Yeah.
why I can get up to 10.
You're
You
like
know,
Pokemon
Jigglypuff.
trainer. That's a Pokemon.
Yeah, Ash, he's a Pokemon. He's an animal all out there in the field. But yes, we'll be back next week. And we promise you it'll not be boring.
Bye.